He had one job. Just one job. He's not here.
One.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Job.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Angery Nation Podcast. I hate doing that part. It sounds cheesy and self-serving, but you're supposed to do that part. So glad to be back with you-uns. We have got a great guest on tonight because I'm getting all about my comms lately. So we've got Mr. Jason from Ham Radio 2.0 in the house. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Thanks for the invite. This is ought to be fun.
Yeah, look at all the comments that are already here. Holy crap, you guys are overachievers of the worst level. Now I've got everything set like I need it, so I can read it. There we go. All right, and we, as you can see, I've got the illustrious Mr. Seaux Larreau right here in Das House with me.
Yep, I'm come all the way down to Florida, so we decided to do the podcast from here.
Hell yeah.
And I'm here with Imri and I are in Palatka when they're having the round canopy parachute team do their next class, and we're just observers. We're not really jumping with them. Carl's from Tactical Rifleman.
Jump
Carl
master
Erickson's
again.
over there doing his jump master thing. And, of course, Imri is late.
He had one job.
Yeah, one job.
Literally one job.
And I want to let all of our viewers know that we have a medical emergency to take care of in this country. All right. So, as most of you know, 1 out of 5 women in the United States is diagnosed as either mentally ill or has anger issues. Right.
Bipolar, call it what you want.
So, the emergency of this nation is 80% of the women haven't been diagnosed yet.
4 out of 5 women have yet to be diagnosed in this country. That is a epidemic. And Sue opened my eyes to it today. I did not even.
We got to take care of that.
We need to fix this shit. Well, welcome to the Chick Show, Jason. How the hell you doing, man?
I've seen that meme a few times. I haven't showed it to my wife yet. I was going back and forth on that, but maybe one day.
Come
Maybe
on now.
I'm sure she's probably.
You could ask her, just say, which box are you in here?
Right.
Just point. You ain't gonna say nothing.
Just
T, that'd be a great thing for you to do to Amber too. She'd get a kick out of that.
I'm even this cup right here. So she bought this cup. I don't need
my husband.
Everything, you know.
Google knows everything.
And then underneath it, I wrote, "Yes, I do," and I put it back up in the cabinet.
Hell yeah, yeah. I like it. What's been going on in your world lately, Jason? What's going on with Ham Radio 2.0?
Man, we've just been keeping busy. I was in. You know what? I think my microphone turned down on me again.
You're good. You're doing great.
Now you sound
okay. Good.
You sound beautiful. Lovely.
Good. Okay.
Come on, darling.
So I was in Florida last month. The second largest ham radio trade show is in Orlando every February. So I was out there for that. Nice weather. It was like 25 degrees here in Texas, and it was 70 degrees in Florida. So I enjoyed Florida for about 5 days, and it was good out there. But
yeah, it's part of the reason I live here. You know?
Right. Yeah.
It really is part of the reason I live here. I'll try to make that next year, though. I wish I could have caught up with you while you were down here, man.
Yeah.
Well,
we need to try to plan that better next time.
Well, in a few months, I'm going to be driving through your area. I'm going to holler at you when we're doing that. We're going to be making a big ass loop. I got to be in Montana. I got to be up in Big Fork, Montana on like the 27th of July. Okay. And then I'm going to do a southwest swing home, go through the desert, cross Texas, and come home that way.
Okay.
Just because I want to see it. So,
because why not?
Because I can. That's why. It's my privilege, and I will exercise it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you? What are you doing out there?
We're going to do a thing up there with Shield Arms in July, and then after that, it's just I'm going to do a bunch of meet and greets. Pretty much, me and Mel have a couple places we want to go. We're going to hit Glacier and Yellowstone, and then go into the Canyonlands down in Utah. Maybe go to Moab just to look around, not do anything, but go by there, and then come back through Texas. I got a few stops I'm going to make in Texas because I got a lot of people out there that I'm getting together at one time. So
you may have to stop and smack Rawson on the butt on the way.
Where's he at?
He's in St. George, Utah.
Oh, is he? Well, definitely. We're going to Salt Lake, so I'll stop by there too. Hell yeah. Yeah,
I was there last
We're
year.
on the other side of the state. It's almost by Vegas.
And the problem is I'm starting this freaking company, and I won't have as much free time as I presently have here in the near future. So this will get interesting.
Hmm.
I bought a bucket truck Friday, and we're going into the line business. We're going to be hanging fiber optic cable.
Nice. Okay.
3-year contract right here in the county I live in and the adjoining county. So it's money on the table. All I got to do is pick it up. So I'm going to do that. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds
and
good.
for you two, in case you guys don't know, and I need to do these introductions because for you anyway, since he's here now. Seaux Larreau and Imri Morgenstern. This is Jason with Ham Radio 2.0. Like, you got ham radio questions. Sue was a Charlie in the
Echo.
I'm sorry, an Echo in the teams too. In the group. In the
Ah.
18 group. Ask him a radio question. Just anyone. Even a simple one.
I don't know any simple radio questions.
Let me help. What is a PTT?
Push to talk.
Yeah, he got it. He did. All right.
I was going to say, what is SWR? That's what I was going to say. But
Oh, there you go. What is SWR?
That's a signal to wave ratio.
Holy shit, it's in there.
It's still up there.
Like Chef Boyardee, it's all in there. It's just
Right.
getting it the fuck out of the can.
Matter of fact, where I live, Jason, in up by Cherokee, North Carolina, I was trying to explain to Imri how we have to use a Nivis antenna so we can do straight up, straight down shots to get out of there, out of some of those canyons and everything, versus the dipole. It's more of a psychological conversation. He's the psycho, I'm the logical one.
And if you really knew these
It's kinda
two,
true.
well, it's half true. Psycho half true. The logical part, okay, it's half true.
Fair enough.
So
oh, boy.
when I'm out at Robin Sage, they always put up a VHF jungle antenna. You see that? And then they just use a long
FM.
That's FM, VHF, and then they just use a long wire, just a straight long wire for their HF stuff.
Yeah,
and they can never make comms. Every time I've been out with them, comms are their number one problem. And
yeah, but that's
because
the rules of nature.
The base station, and poor Jason knows this. If they would just do a short dipole, they have a better chance of making comms because when they put up a long wire, they're putting their base station's only 70 miles, 120 miles away.
Yeah, they're not that far away.
So they're putting the base station right in the skip zone.
Yep. Yeah. And two, putting that long wire out, you're putting, that's a big ass beacon. Every time you key that mic, that's a lot of wire. That's a lot of RF signature that you're putting into the world. And and they can never make comms. But in group right now, there's a huge push on their part to get comms back up as far as HF skills. I don't know if you know that, Jason, but in special forces in this country, they understand now that our satellite systems and everything are a huge liability for us. Mm-hmm. And they're pushing HF. So right now, the guys that go through Sage, if their comms are fucked up, they do not advance. They get recycled and they come back through. Comms are that's a kill shot to any team, any group that
now,
goes
does
through.
that involve TikTok?
No, well, maybe. I've never seen one of those guys' phones, so I don't know.
Well, they are doing what they're, especially after what we saw with Hurricane Helene.
Well, yeah,
and you saw that too here. But
yes,
they're starting to show guys how to use the what do you call it?
HF stuff?
No, the satellite you're using.
Starlink. Yeah,
Starlink. They're showing Starlinks.
Yeah. Well, they shuttled Starlinks into places that were cut off in North Carolina just so the people to have some form of communication. Because, once you set that up, then you can turn on Wi-Fi calling on your phone, and now you can make phone calls. You got everything. Yeah. And since we're talking about comms like that, I'm going to get your take on this, Jason. What do you think about this whole signal uproar that's taking place right now?
Signal?
You didn't catch this? You haven't heard about the...
Signal is in the app.
As in the app Signal, the communication app Signal.
I'm not familiar with that one, no.
Have you heard what's going on?
No.
Really?
T,
no.
Have you heard about it, T?
No, we're talking about...
Have you guys watched the news for 3 days?
Yep.
I mean, if it's a phone app, then
Well, what happened? What happened was somehow Pete Hegseth added the editor of the Atlantic Monthly into a signal string where they were planning the hit on the Houthis the other day, included weapons packages, all kinds of shit. And you had a very unsecure person in the mix getting all this information who has now posted every bit of it publicly.
Okay. I heard.
So we have.
I did hear something about that, but I'm not real familiar with the story.
It's caused
The-
a bit
the
of a
Atlantic-
ripple.
It's caused a little ripple in things.
Huh?
Oh, hold up,
They're
hold
calling
up.
for the resignation
Signal
of,
is 100% encrypted. Like there's no way that's possible. That's what they said on Facebook.
Well, let me tell you this. I know a
I
guy.
don't trust any of that.
Look up Combat Studies Group, folks. Look up Combat Studies Group. They offer a class called Ground Rod, and I highly recommend you take the class. Signal is an encrypted messaging app, and it is secure. No one else that can receive your message and decrypt that. But if law enforcement wants it, all they need is a fucking warrant, and they've got it.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem with Signal, as is with most apps, is that those companies reside, the door's breathing.
Chapo.
The door's breathing. But they reside in a country that is one of the Five Eyes: United States, Canada, England, Australia, and probably Germany, I imagine, or France. And if it's in any of those 5 countries, law enforcement works hand in glove with each other. They'll do anything each other wants. So if you're using a messaging app based out of England and you think you're super secure and the government will never find you, all they got to do is ask the English for it and they'll turn it over. So you want to be using encrypted messaging apps that don't live in the Five Eyes, And I would even step away from Signal. To me, is not very secure. I like Session personally. Have you heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
I've never heard of that one.
Session
I
is.
thought I had them all.
No, this one is a blockchain based encrypted messaging app. You don't have a username or nothing, and you have to be in physical contact with one another to even trade the IDs because it's a QR code.
Okay.
And it is 100% encrypted.
Interesting.
And it's based off of blockchain. So there's no way they can get into it. So what do the feds do? The government sees all this encryption stuff coming. Holy shit! Sorry about that, y'all.
What the hell is it? Oh, for a second, I thought I was back in Israel.
You guys getting raided over there? They don't like whatever you're talking about, man. They're coming after you.
No, they don't.
Just got swatted.
talking about perfect timing.
So what the feds did, and this is actually the thing. It's funny, but that was Roach, Russ, in the background. You know who he is. I got to call him back and find out what's up. So now your phones, your Apples, your iPhones, your fucking Androids, whatever. In the last IU that went out, well, not last. This happened probably last year or the year before. Mm-hmm. In the IU, the feds gave themselves backdoor access to essentially a keylogger.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting your message as you're typing it before you even send it. Once it's sent, that's secure, but they can read everything you sent.
Interesting. They can essentially share your screen with themselves.
They can just go in the back door and be like, they can look at the apps being used and they can open it all up and read it, even after it's sent. So there's your problem. So all you people out in the world that think, oh, I can use this encrypted this and this encrypted that.
You know what I like?
It's not real unless it doesn't live in the Five Eyes.
2 cups.
2 cups in a string. Yeah.
Thank God you said string.
Eric Prince. I was going to buy one. They're $1,000 a piece, but Eric Prince has invested most of his money. The guy that used to have Blackwater, the little contractor company, Blackwater.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Prince sold that company, but now he started another company based off of nothing but a cell phone called Unplugged.
Don't get it.
It's a VPN.
If you want a good phone, look up Combat Studies Group and talk to Chris, because he'll take an Android phone and he'll rip the Google and Android out of it, and then install something like Graphene, which is a custom IO for phones, and that's what you want to do.
We've been doing that with some of our platforms as well. Just we're calling it de-Googling stuff. Yeah, you can't do that with Apple. No. Cannot do that with Apple, but you can actually de-Google an Android device. So
an Android, yeah.
Yep.
So there's Graphene. There's a few
de-Google it if you don't know what you're doing. Because I de-Googled my phone and it quit working. I had to buy another phone.
It quit working and I had to buy a new one.
All of a sudden, nothing worked. Like I delete this Google app. I'll delete that Google. Next thing you know, phone doesn't work.
That's
cool. You got to rip the OS out. The operating system has to come out of the phone entirely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you do this, so Combat Studies Group. Fuck! I thought I turned that off.
You know,
Man, what
it's
is
like
going
you're
on over
testing
there?
the
What are you
weekend.
guys doing? Jumping up and down? Is
my
that
phone keeps
squirrel
ringing.
running around down there?
My phone keeps ringing.
And
Sorry.
it sounds like a siren.
And it's just my ringtone is an air raid siren followed up by belt fed.
Perfect.
Which
Well, that's
is currently
good.
up in my memory.
Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. And yours, isn't it? Yes. Imri went on a little vacation a while ago in the Middle East. It was fun.
Yeah. I call it summer camp.
Summer camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the other side call it?
I don't know. I'm
Oh,
not sure they're calling it.
They were
that.
calling it shit. Oh man.
You know, I got like 5 jokes for that, and they're not for the internet.
We'll save those for after the
Yeah.
show.
The other side was calling it
Ha.
the tunnel of love.
The tunnels of love. So Jason, Imri's part of IDF. I mean, he's an American. He lives here, but he got recalled. And he didn't get recalled. He fought tooth and nail to get back in.
That's kind of true.
To go to defend his
He
homeland.
begged. He begged.
He begged. Pleaded. He may have
Borrow
done.
and steal.
He may have done something biblical. I don't know. But you know.
Or unbiblical.
Yeah, I'm not very biblical.
No, he's not very big. Very big.
Right.
But yeah, there's whole row is going on with Signal because, fortunately, the Atlantic. By the time they had the information, it was already actually dated. Like because that was happening in real time.
It was sensitive information. It was not classified.
It was nothing that they talked about was classified. So the media is making a big deal about it and calling for Pete Hegseth to resign. And I hope Trump backs him. And he doesn't yet. The guy just got in office.
Well,
he's in it a little over his head.
Well, it was
They've had
actually
hearings. I mean,
Waltz
they
took
made a
the
big
credit.
deal.
Waltz said, "I accidentally put this guy on."
Yeah.
He didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
But on government phones, the Signal app comes pre-installed. So I imagine somewhere in the address book,
That guy was already there.
That guy was there because some liberal had that phone before,
Yeah.
and Waltz just accidentally. I've done it several times before. I had people. And I find out later.
Yeah, but Sue,
I don't even know this guy.
You're not an example. You're
I'm
not an
I'm
example.
not a good example.
You're some kind of example.
You're a good example of a bad example.
That's a fucking t-shirt.
I'm a good
That's
example
a
of a bad
t-shirt.
We
example.
need a T-shirt that says that.
I'll get her done.
I'm a good example of a bad
I
example.
will have them for you in May. Are you coming to? We talked. You can't make it to Mountain Readiness, can you?
I'm gonna look at my schedule again and see. But what does everyone camp there, or how does?
We do. I mean, there's hotels in the area, but you can bring RVs. You can camp.
Camping on it's a 106-acre campground. So there's RV
It's all-
hookups if you want to spot. There's tent camping. You know, you let some people camp in their trucks. You know, and plenty of room though. Plenty of room.
Yeah. Okay.
Tent camping. How do you
Camp.
camp in a tent?
What?
He's fucking with your
I'm just
accent, you
making fun of you
hillbilly.
too because I love you.
He just-
What's the problem here? What
He said-
we got
he
going
said-
on? Are
He
y'all
wanted to
making
know
fun of
how
me?
you sleep in a tent because he sleeps in a tent.
Yeah, I heard 10 camping.
You don't even sleep in a tent. You don't even sleep in a tent. You sleep in a hammock.
I fucking love you. He's right.
Oh fuck!
I would love to come to that. I really would. It's in North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right there in Harmony. Yeah, right
Yeah,
outside of.
you need to come, man. You really should. It'd be a good. It is a great time. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I got good news, T. I got too many roosters again. I need to get rid of a couple more.
Bring them on. Them roosters didn't bother me. Bring them.
Man, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I brought
We
a
had
couple.
such a good time.
I brought a couple roosters last year for the kill class. They were supposed to be part of the kill class. You know, people actually pay money to learn how to
Butcher.
process
Yep.
chickens.
Mhm.
And,
Which we are doing again. We're going to do again.
These two
Yep.
roosters.
Maybe not on the scale that we did last time, though. That was just like that was ethnic cleansing. I mean, we killed tons of chickens. So it was 100 chickens we slaughtered that day.
Hell yeah, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. There's great classes at this event. Like you guys should come. I'm not reading any of the friggin' comments tonight, guys. Sorry, I'm a little preoccupied.
Yeah.
It's for you, my friend. From
Open
me
that shit.
to you.
What are you doing? You're just show them what you got.
Well, I don't want to.
Yeah, let's see it. Come on.
Well, I hate to say it, but Emery's already got one.
It's stuck.
Don't ruin my thing. I was going to go get it. During intermission.
It's stuck.
Well,
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't get one.
if you can't open it up, you can't have it.
Yeah.
It's like the sword and the stone.
It is.
It's not yours.
If you can pull it out, it's
I'm
yours.
not the king.
You got anything on the horizon you're working on right now, Jason? Anything that we need to let folks know about? Because if you guys don't follow him on YouTube and stuff, you need to. Like, his videos are awesome. You need to follow.
Thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely. You need to be checking them out.
Mm.
Yeah. And use hashtag ham if you have specific ham radio
It
questions.
was in there, wasn't it?
Sure. Yeah, we can answer those.
Yeah, they stick.
There's two. There's several guys in the chat tonight. They're my subscribers as well. And they're
Oh, you got your people? Ah,
Yeah.
awesome.
good at
Awesome.
answering questions
There you go.
too. So,
That looks good in your hand.
you know,
I just wanted you to get recalled and had to go back. I just need a picture of it on your kit because that way I can advertise it as used by the IDF.
Brother, I love you. Done.
That way I can hang right on as used by the IDF.
Done.
I know it'll take a goat's head off in one swing. I know that for a fact.
I don't get to try that when I go back to the army.
No, wants to do it? No. It will. I know that for a
It's
fact.
frowned
I
upon.
saw it
What
happen.
you got yourself into, Jason?
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean-
we weren't planning on this exact format tonight, but I'm loving it. It's working for me.
Yeah.
By the way, we literally physically just dropped in on Chris and Mel. Like, hey, buddy, we're here. We're on the way. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you guys a secret too. When you called me and said you wanted to come to the house and do the podcast tonight, like this is where my brain is because I got so much shit going on. I was like, okay, cool. Emery and Sue are gonna come do Emery's podcast here tonight. And Mel was like, "Are they coming to do our podcast? They're coming to the house to do your podcast?" Because I told them you guys are coming, and I was like, "Fuck! Oh yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's what
Wednesday.
I don't know. I don't ever know what day of the week it is.
Well, usually it's me that's like, I have no idea what's going on today.
Yeah.
So
you see how
I'm glad it's
clueless
not
we are. Have we broken the sad ham yet with the preppers getting into it? The sad hams are having a bad day, but they're aging out, guys. You know, once the boomers are out of the ham radio game, I think the sad hams will be a non-existent feature.
pardon the ignorance,
Come on, look at Jason. He's like,
but I have no idea what you were just talking
A
about.
sad ham is a ham radio operator.
It's bacon that's overcooked.
Yeah, way over.
Right.
Like it's way overcooked bacon. They're the guys that will bitch about radio etiquette. They'll complain to the FCC. They'll tell you you're doing shit wrong. They hate Baofeng radios.
Okay.
You know, they're the assholes that get on the radio to talk about the radio and not about anything in particular newsworthy or useful.
Okay.
Just tying up bandwidth.
Okay.
And they're tattletales. And I'll tell the FCC. We're like, yeah, you're a real libertarian or free or liberty-minded individual, aren't you? They're sad hams, and that's what we call them. So I memorialized sad ham in my last book, as a matter of fact. Like I put it in there. Because they break into this, they find a house that had a bunch of antennas and stuff around it. They're like, that's ham radios. And so they break into this room, and they actually had to use a breaching explosive using 2 sailing bags and some C4.
How come we didn't speak about this before?
Oh, I'll send you my written notes on it, and you tell me how well I did. I think I did fairly well on this.
I love
it's precise.
Love it. Okay.
But they get in the room, and this guy has lived through the end of the world, essentially. And he had all this radio equipment and the power to run it. And on his station log, he's complaining, no call sign or no CQs, didn't give call sign or call sign this, and labeling like he was going to complain to the FCC about this guy's behavior when the FCC came back online. And that's just how pathetic these guys are. Like even in that world, they would still be telling you you're doing it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's pathetic.
Well, I lived the real experience during Hurricane Helene. We lost where I'm at by Cherokee, North Carolina. We lost all communication, all cell phone, of course, even no internet. Everything had to be done in cash.
Yep.
So especially the kids who pay everything off their ATM
off their phone
card,
or their card or
off their debit card. If you didn't have cash. And then even the gas stations were only allowing you to do a $30 purchase for fuel.
Damn.
So enough people would get the fuel.
Yeah.
And this went on for 10 days. And I'm like, man, I need to get that ham radio that I bought. I bought an ICOM 1500,
Nice.
And I got it out and everything and looked at the antenna that came with it and everything. And I was like, I don't even know how to turn this thing on. But even, and back me up on this one. In emergency situation, if you can get to a radio, you're supposed to get on there and start reporting in what the situation is.
Well,
to other ham radio operators who know how to do it.
yeah, if you can, as long
You
as
don't need a call sign or anything.
Well, you don't need to use a call sign in an emergency situation to call for help.
Yes.
Now, if you're just trying to say, yeah, we made it through the storm, but here's what's wrong in my area, the sad hams would be slapping your hand for that and telling you they're going to call the FCC.
Yeah, send in.
Send them.
Send them.
Send them this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Send them this way. Yeah.
Send them this way.
I got a story about that when y'all are ready.
Go for it. Well, hang on. We got one more question. Let's do this question. Let's do the story. So
go ahead.
This is a question for T. I got 3-day pass and want to tent camp. Can I just pick a spot closer over to the barn, opposite side of the vendors, a.k.a., and just pick a spot that's open?
So, for everybody listening, if you are tent camping, all you got to do is call a campground owner and pay for however many nights you're going to be there. If you're RV camping, then you got to go on our website and reserve that RV spot and then call the campground owner and pay for your spot. But as far as your tent camping, over there in Angery land, that whole center of that field is open. It's first come, first serve. And then everything behind where we set up the big tents is first come, first serve. So don't drop your tent in the middle of where I got my vendors, of course. But or in the middle of my big 30 by 60 tent. You know, I don't want to get up in the morning, walk in there, and here's a tent in the middle of the stage. But other than that, it's free game. And what, you know, a lot of people don't know is in the back of that campground is way primitive, and they've got big huge clearing out back there. And
there's a whole new section to that campground, guys, that no one's even. Oh, and they get it so nice. It's so nice. Like it drops down from where we're at. It drops down nice grade, and then they went in and leveled out a huge area, and you're fully secluded in the trees.
Nice.
It's really nice.
That's where Alan Kay and us did our winter survival class this last February. It was awesome back there. Other than the freezing to death part, it was very cool.
Did Alan take anything away from you in that class?
Did
he take anything away from you?
Did he take anything away from me?
Well, remember, he denied everybody their shit in the beginning, and then he gave it back. So I'm just wondering, what did he take from you to send you out in the woods?
Oh no, I gave up all my vices other than coffee, and I was drinking Alan's coffee. So I don't smoke anymore. Plus, I had the jar of Wilkes County spring water, so you know we were friends on that one.
Well, yeah, that kind of goes without saying, buddy.
Yeah, everybody else though lost their minds. Like we everybody got their packs on, and you know they're raring to go. And he's like, "Okay, everyone, give me your cell phones, your cigarettes, your nicotine chew, your gum." And everybody's like,
"You have it all."
He took it all. He took it all, and everybody cried for the entire day. Yeah, and we even lost him. We even lost somebody that day. They left.
Well, that's 100% legit.
Give it. Just throw it. Thank you, because I know you're dealing with a beast. So.
Since the man that had everything taken away from him, I need my dad.
I ain't a student in class. All right. Oh, that's how that works.
All right, I want to hear this Como story.
All right, yeah, come on, Jason. What do you got? Let's hear the story.
So I did an interview. Okay, so there was a group of hams who set up, and I don't remember the exact area, but they were in eastern Tennessee. They were hit by part of the Hurricane Helene, and they were kind of like on the border of North Carolina. And I don't remember the name of the town, but I've got an hour-long interview with them on my channel. And there's a really tall repeater on a mountain range out there somewhere that's got a huge footprint. So it reaches, like 100, 110 miles, something like that. And they set up comms to relay traffic back and forth into and out of the area in that was hit by the hurricane. Yeah. That was without power, without cell service, without Starlink. Because if you had a Starlink dish on your house when the hurricane came through, it ain't there no more. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can set it
that's
up
true.
afterwards, obviously,
true.
but
Yeah.
anything that was there beforehand is gone, including a ham
Good
radio.
point. Actually,
tower.
Jason, that's a good point to make to people. Guys, if you got Starlink and a hurricane or a blizzard or something like that's coming, you might want to go out and pull that dish down.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And put it away till the storm passes and then put it back
That's
up.
That's right.
That's a good point. Go ahead. That's great.
So there was a group of hams that set up, and they were passing traffic back and forth over the repeater system to just let people, call in, make reports, ask for help. There was a guy that did not have a ham radio license that was I think he was at the local VFA. And I think that VFW, I'm sorry. He was at the local VFW, and he had called up on the repeater and said, look, I don't have a license, but we're without water over here. Can you send a water truck? And the guys were like, sure, we'll do that. Let me take your information down. They took all the information down, and they sent a water truck out there. So there's a lot of, the term sad ham gets thrown around a lot, and those guys do exist, but it's my personal opinion that those guys, you're not going to see them in an emergency because they're probably hiding.
No, you will never see them. You will only hear their voices. They're like anti-ham radio ghosts that exists. You only hear their voices. Go ahead.
But there were a lot of people that were helping pass traffic back and forth into the devastated area that did and did not have. All the guys on the repeater, all the net control guys had licenses, of course, but they were taking traffic check-ins from anybody who could key up a radio and say, hey, we're out here. We need some help over here. We need this over here, that kind of thing. So that happened. I mean, that was just a few months ago. That happened in a very, very recent time. Some people say, well, with the internet and Starlink, you don't need ham radio anymore. And I'm like, dude, that was the only way of communication for like 3 weeks in that area.
And I'll give you a modern day, as in when the world's not falling apart. I participated in a small, minor little SAR issue up here in the Ocala National Forest.
Yeah.
We were in the forest. Nobody had communication whatsoever. And we had an older woman that had some health issues missing in the forest. It was genuinely, I wanted the bottle, really. Just bring that. I'm going to pour this in here.
The rest of the whistle pig.
I said scotch. That's not scotch. I just mixed Macallan and whistle pig.
Would you hear
do what I ask you to do and give me the bottle now.
I don't know the difference between scotch and whiskey. That's like
it says it on the label.
Well, look, in her defense, scotch is whiskey.
It is, but it's not.
I'm just
saying.
So we had a woman. I was going to meet some. Actually, it was a reader of mine, and his. I don't want to get the discipline wrong. It was one of the martial arts disciplines. I don't remember which one. Sue, would you please hand that to me? Sue, would you? Do you care? You? Anybody? You want? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He's the D.
I thought you wanted to clean glass.
No,
where are we at in the story?
We're gonna get back to that. So. No one has cell phone communication. The only communication we had out there was I hopped in my truck, fired up my radio, and we have a repeater here in Florida that's a 1,200-foot tower. I have made so far the longest contact to that tower at 122 miles. But I happened to be on an overpass up really high as I was doing it, but I got it. I've got the longest contact on the Anthony Tower. So I jumped on my radio and I just hit Anthony. I'm like, emergency traffic, any station. Somebody popped up immediately. I'm like, hey, I need you to call 911. Ocala, 911, and get Marion County Sheriff's Office headed this way. We got an issue. And so he was my ground relay. I was talking to him. He was talking to 911, back and forth. And we initiated a search on our end. And it took me about 2 hours, but I found the woman before the sheriff's office ever fucking showed up.
Really?
We were telling her, like, she's got medical conditions. We're genuinely concerned. We need some help. And we did all that. We're in communication. I'm relaying back to 911. We're talking, but I actually found her before they ever showed up. Google had took her, and this is a lesson for everybody, guys. Google and Waze. A lot of things are called roads in this country that ain't fucking roads. If Google tells you to turn onto it and you look down it and it's a fucking 2-track, and by a 2-track I mean there's some dirt, there's some grass, there's some dirt. That's a 2-track.
There's tire tracks with grass in the middle.
Yeah, don't drive down that shit.
Don't assume that's going to become asphalt.
Yeah, never. Like, look at where you're driving, folks. And this poor gal, Google had told her something was a road, and it wasn't technically, yeah. If you've got a 4-wheel drive, big ass truck, it'll go down it. But that's where I found her because I'm asking her. Like, her son was the one telling me, "Hey, this is my mom's missing. What's she driving? Where's she coming from?" And so then I took where she's coming from and put where we were. I drove out to do it to get signal. And I'm like, oh, she would have come in this way. And I started driving, and that's how I found her. And she was fine. But that's a real world use.
Google gave you the same route?
Gave me the same route, basically. Essentially, enough that I was close to figure it out. Because as I'm looking at the route and I'm looking at alternate routes, I'm like, holy shit, if she went this way, yeah, I'm like, she's in here. That's what I told her son. I'm like, let's go find her.
Well, where Jason was talking about, the same thing happened to me. I mean, they're still doing a lot of repair up there.
Yeah, still.
In Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee. Yeah. I had to go to Eastern Tennessee to order a capping lid for my outdoor chimney that I'm building. And so I went up, I Googled it, and it took me over a national forest road. And like you said, if I didn't have a 4-wheel drive truck, I wouldn't have made it.
You know, there's modern work. Technology is great, but it's a liability. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's actually a thing called death by GPS now. A law enforcement officer told me that one time. He's like, that's actually on the book somewhere.
No shit. Hey, bro,
death by GPS, because the GPS took you the wrong way and you got killed doing it. Death by GPS.
I watch videos on YouTube of people that drive off of fucking seawalls because Google's telling them there's a road.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of it. They'll do it. Google
Yeah.
They had two fatalities right after Hurricane Helene. You know, I-40 got cut between North Carolina and Tennessee. And signs up and everything, but people are following their phones. And they drove right off of the dang. Right off the highway.
I wanted this put back up, guys. If you're watching this, do a screenshot, whatever. Get the title of that book. If you get little people in your life, my buddy Current is doing some kids' books based on survival. He's got
little people.
Gets his first gun. Survival and shit. Ham radio. We did one on ham radio. Jason, that's why this is okay.
Yeah.
And the story that's used in the child's book is the actual story I just told.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It's really cool. Kids don't realize it, but it's a real world event. But we broke it down, and it's done for kids. It's fully illustrated.
Very cool.
And if you get it, which I have one around here somewhere, I'm not sure where it's at. For those of you guys that have already bought this, fuck yeah, that's it. Thank you, Sue.
I'm a tracker.
He is actually.
Yeah.
Sue can track you if you can levitate. Sue can track you. So this is it. This is the book, and it's Survival Sam Saves the Day, and it's a kid's book straight up. We did Kermit did these 4 kids. They're fully illustrated, but they're full of Easter eggs, guys. Really, when you're reading these, go flip through it. Look, see how many Easter eggs you can find. Wow. There's Chapo. You gotta take Chapo with you because Chapo's like you on the worst.
Imri's gonna be entertained for hours now.
Sue's gotta go with you. Yes, Sue's gotta go with you. So Kermit has a series of books. Here's another one. Radio Rick Saves the Day. And then this one is this is Survival Sam, same one. Yeah, isn't that cool? So we're doing kids books because we understand the importance like the left does, guys.
Hell, let's be honest. This book right here is probably going to be helpful for me.
That's what I'm saying.
I guarantee
it's your favorite kind.
I guarantee.
So I will have a bunch of these at Mountain Readiness.
There's no drag shows in it.
No, there's not. This is conservative.
That was a joke.
No drag shows.
Sorry, Stu. Sorry, Stu. Not at our venue. That's
Not
on the other side of town.
No drag. Wait, I thought there was gonna be a drag show at Mountain Readiness. There's no drag show for kids at Mountain Readiness.
Wrong coast, I think. Y'all need to go to the other coast for that stuff.
Yeah,
well, wrong coast. Let me give you guys this. I've got a meeting being set up right now with some billionaires, and this is. I'm actually even working. Like I'm drafting the talk. I'm typing it out so that I can get it right, and I'm going to pitch to these guys because these are all very conservative billionaires, people that I'm going to be talking to, and I'm going to try to convince them to create a Hollywood East, because Hollywood is on the left coast, so we get left messaging. Let's do a Hollywood East on the right coast and create right messaging, as well as good, wholesome entertainment that we would enjoy watching, because nobody's creating anything for us.
You mean like normal human kind of entertainment?
Yeah, just normal entertainment, not the bullshit.
Then you'll have the rest of the population of California move out here.
I think they already are.
Well, yeah, like I'm legitimately trying to get this set up because Like go to Netflix, go to Amazon.
No, I think that's a great idea because when you're talking about the film industry, there's a lot to it, and there's a lot of
it's a
lot
shitty
of-
industry.
but there's a lot of technical expertise that you need.
I've got it.
So those technical people will move out here and be part of it.
Well,
I don't-
these days, there's plenty of technical people that don't live inside of LA, I'm sure, in that industry.
Oh, absolutely.
Tons.
There are tons of closet conservatives in California.
Mhm.
Being closet gay in California is nothing. Being a closet conservative, they'll burn you at the stake if they figure it out.
Yeah.
Like you're a witch, you know. So yeah, it's real world shit. But we did these, and Kermit, he's a Navy chaplain, right? He's a good dude, like someone solid to support.
Mm-hmm.
And these are quality, wholesome books for kids.
Yeah.
So look up Kermit Jones.
Talk to
on
Kermit.
Amazon.
Is he coming?
Get his full library, but you can find Survival Sam Saves the Day under my page because my name's on the front of this one as well. I collaborated with him, but Kermit wrote this book,
Mhm.
and it's fantastic. If you've got little people in your life, look these up. They're really awesome. And Jason, we did this because we're trying to encourage kids to get into ham radio and stuff because
Right.
the sad hams of the world discourage people from getting into the hobby.
Really?
To a certain degree. Yeah. To a
Yeah,
certain
I'm sure it's just like in the gun industry, right? The guy that
Yeah.
thinks he knows everything because Grandpappy taught me how to shoot in the backyard, and then he goes and tells you what you're doing
Well,
wrong.
like a lot of the sad hams today are guys that come from the era of they debuilt their own fucking radio.
Mhm.
Is that not a skill anymore?
No,
Really?
Now today it's out of the box. You buy a boxed radio.
Everything.
These guys built their radios with
Yeah.
tubes, like
Yeah.
tube shit. Like
Which
this,
I
is old.
respect that shit.
I respect.
You can still do that. There's still kits where you can do that. You
Shit,
can
I'm
still
out
do
of the
that.
frame. Sorry, y'all. You
You
still
don't-
can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm leaning in, but it's not because I want to kiss this time.
No? Well,
No,
fuck
not this
you
time.
then.
Not on camera. But
Sorry,
we wrote these
that's
books to try to encourage kids to get back into this hobby
Mhm,
and how
mhm.
cool it is. Because kids always love to play with radios, don't they? Like I got a nephew, no, a cousin. I got a cousin who's a young kid up in Maryland, and he got his ham license at
Okay.
like 16. I was like, holy shit, really? I was like, fuck.
Mhm.
Kid knows Morse code. He can do the whole thing. Even though they took Morse code off the test, right, Jason? Like, you don't have to do that no more.
Right.
But at 16, he got his ham license, and I just thought that was so fucking awesome.
That is cool.
That's a funny thing because I actually bought that radio so I could get back into Morse code because I was like, well, the ham radio guys will still do it.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah, get you a key and you can-
Actually, Morse code became more popular after they removed it from the test. There's more people doing it now than there was back then.
I only know two letters. I know S and O.
Well, you
I
also know
Dot dot dot
that.
dash dash dash, and I know S again. I can
Right.
get that one
Yeah.
out, but that's the only
Get
Morse
that
code
one
I
out.
fucking know, which is sad. I know.
Honestly, brother, I only know two letters. You know three, I'm pretty sure.
Well, if you repeat the first one on the third evolution, then you've
It's still
got
three
it.
letters.
You got to send it.
Well, back when I did the Commo course and the Q course for the Green Berets, you had to do Morse code. And I thought I
Oh,
was
yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
good because I left the Q course at 20 groups per minute, sending and
Mhm.
receiving.
Really?
Right.
That's not bad.
And then
That's good.
my first assignment was up with 10th group in Fort Devens, Massachusetts. Now remember, guys, we do the Latin alphabet. We have 26 characters in our alphabet. These kids, I call them kids. They're much younger than me. This is still during the Cold War. These guys were learning to be Russian Morse code interceptors.
Wow.
That alphabet has 36 characters in it. 10 more than
Cyrillic,
we do.
yeah. Cyrillic's got way
And they
fucking
were
more.
they were intercepting Morse code at 35 and 40 groups a minute.
Look at this right here. Diana Rogers
On
just said,
typewriter. Amazing.
my friend in North Carolina got her ham license at fucking 10. Why can't we get
Mhm.
these kids in? And this is what
Yeah.
we need to be doing. The left understands how to fight this fight. And it's a cultural fight. It's not a kinetic fight at the moment. Right now, it's all cultural, guys. The kinetic part's
Mhm.
coming. And they have won the cultural war. We've lost it. The kinetic fight to come, we will probably come out on top of. But I'm estimating a decade to work that out. But it's coming. If you look at the tenor on things like X, Twitter, and Facebook, the left they're getting more and more violent. You can see it in their text. Should be killed, needs to be killed. These people need to be killed.
Well, look what they're doing to Tesla. Look what they're doing to Tesla.
Exactly. Prime
Yeah,
example.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got Tesla owners popping the Tesla emblem off the back of their car, putting a Honda emblem on it, and the Civic emblem down on the like they're doing that to try to keep their cars from getting burned.
Yeah, well, they're not doing that with a Cybertruck.
No, they're not doing hard to hide that one.
Kind of hard to
But
miss
here's
that
the
one.
thing. The hilarious part about it is it's leftists vandalizing and defacing the property of other leftists.
Hey,
Exactly.
Like one
does
girl,
that sound? I feel like that's happened in history.
you know, we talk a lot about a self-eating or a self-licking ice cream cone. That's what DOD and the defense industry are. They're a self-licking ice cream cone. The left is more like a snake eating its own tail. You know, they're just circular logic, and nothing works.
Well, I'm amazed that they got a kid to do a ham radio operator license at 10 years old. When most 10 years old are already on smartphones
Today.
I think it's, when you talk about cultural thing,
Yeah.
I think we as parents, and I say that, you know, we lost the cultural war because it's our fault as parents.
Oh, absolutely.
We should keep kids off of smartphones until they're 16, 17 years old.
Yeah, a child should not have a smartphone or any kind of media
Social
account.
media. Yeah.
And like right here, Battle Gnome, he's like, I got my license at 14. Well, Corey, you're weird. So and he's still a contractor for DOD. He's a radio. He works in a radio shop, but that's a great guy. You guys will see him at Mountain Readiness. You probably already have and just don't know you have.
Okay.
But
well, I'm hoping if I'm in the country, I will be there.
That's because we will miss you. We will miss you if you are not there amongst all the other women, you know, of the camp. They will also miss you.
I'm sorry. Toombs come in?
I was just going to say, if you don't come, I'll drink your whiskey.
All the ladies love Imri, you know. So when Imri's not there, all the ladies are sad.
How wasn't I made aware of this?
You're aware of it. Don't try to play it off. Just go back to looking at those
Consider
pictures in
yourself
that book.
officially notified, sir. You have been served.
You have been aware.
You have been served in front of 112 people.
Well,
So,
that question
212 people.
yeah, Jason, I want you to pick this ball up, run with it. You know, came in a little late, but what's the best way to get started? I'm still new here. First, I'm going to give one piece of advice before Jason talks, and it's going to be listen to Sad Hams. All right, Jason, go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, don't do that. Well, I mean, everybody learns differently. There's plenty of apps out there you can get on your phone. There's free videos on YouTube, my channel, and lots of other channels. You can buy a book and just read it. So go to, get some study material, study a little bit, figure out how you learn best, whether it's an app or a book or whatever. And then go to websites like qrz.com or eham.net and start taking practice tests for free. Yeah. And once you get consistently over 80% on your practice test, go take your test and get it done.
So I'll tell you, here's how I did it. I put an app on my phone and started just going through the questions, and the apps will be like, it'll give you the question and there's an option. You can answer it or you can say, show me the answer.
Okay.
Right.
And I just clicked show me the answer. And I kept doing that until I was going through to the point that, I know this answer. It's that one. I know this answer. It's that one. Oh, I know it's that one. And it's because it's memorization. This test, you're not going to learn shit on this test, but some of the rules.
Okay.
Right.
Once you have a radio,
it's like a CCW.
Yeah. Much steeper curve there, but same kind of thing. Once you have the license, ham radio prep, that'll work.
Ham radio prep is great.
My phone is ham radio prep.
Yeah.
Because that one does pretty good. They're short. The lessons are short, and they go right to the point.
Yep.
They don't get into too much detail.
I don't even remember which app.
They train you for the test. They really do.
The app that I used didn't have any training whatsoever, guys. My app simply had a test. And I would every day, multiple times a day, I would go through it.
The difference is what you're saying makes excellent sense as a method.
Yes.
But the difference is if somebody, and I don't know who asked, but I'm thinking about me, right?
Sure.
100% ignorance in this field, right?
That's why it's because it's just
You have
memorization.
to be able to read.
Yeah, I understand for the
You have to be able to read as well.
You have an electrical background, right?
I do.
So somebody like me, and I know nothing about the process, nothing about.
Mhm.
To
I
Imri,
don't know about this.
electricity is still fucking magic, guys.
It is fucking magic.
It actually is. It's actually witchcraft.
Oh my god.
Jason,
but
you
yeah,
have the YouTube channel, but do you have any publications yourself? Have you put anything out literature-wise?
No, not literature-wise. Everything I've done is on video.
Jason, what the
So-
fuck is wrong with you, dude? You need to write a book, bro. Like, I'm gonna get on your ass and I'm gonna stay on it publicly, like, until you write a book, because you need to.
I've actually started to write about 3 books and never finished any of them. So,
Bro, finish one. The hardest part about writing a book is sitting down at that keyboard and typing the words.
yeah,
That's the hardest part. And I'm talking to you, Seaux Larreau, as I'm talking to
Yes,
Jason.
it is. It's very hard.
It's hard to do.
Yes, it is.
The other option is
It's actually. That's why I got more respect for you than I ever
Listen,
had before.
I will send you home with an audio recorder, and you can sit down and dictate your fucking stories, and I will type them, and you can publish
Yeah.
the book. Your stories, I'll do it. I'll make the book. I know how.
That's what I say to everyone.
good
all the
idea.
time. How's my dictation?
Anyway, we'll talk in a minute. But Jason, you need to write a book too, dude. Like,
I've
in
thought
today's
about it.
world, the
Mhm.
amount of knowledge you have. Look at Brushbeater's book. Matt is a good friend of mine. The Brush is the
Yeah.
Baofeng, the Gorilla's Guide to the Baofeng Radio. And when he started talking to me about writing that, he was asking me for advice. I'm like, dude, you write it and I'll tell you how to publish it. And he did that. And he published his book and he has made a goddamn fortune because it is the best book on the Baofeng out there. You know, it's not 100%, but it is the best book on Baofeng.
Ham Radio
And
Prep has a Baofeng Basics course as well.
Yeah. Because the Baofeng radio, the entry point is so low, $25, $50, whatever it is. You can get a Baofeng and be talking on VHF using repeaters and stuff. And that's a great way to get people into this hobby. HF scares the fuck out of people. But when they know, oh, I can just punch in some numbers, because HF requires a little magic, some voodoo, tobacco smoke, chicken blood, some other shit, you know, the sun, you got to pray to that. You know, all of it matters in HF, but in VHF, it really don't. It's line of sight. If I can see it, I can hit it.
Yeah,
So-
HF is you got to really get into antenna theory and learning how to, especially if you're not using stationary antennas like Yagis and everything, and you're just using wire. You got to get into some antenna theory depending on your terrain and where you're located.
Well, yeah, you've got to know what's going to work. So,
am I right or wrong, Jason?
No, you're right. Yeah, you're totally right. Parks on the
You know,
Air
the
and Summits on
vision-
the Air is a great practice for that type of stuff.
Did you say Parks on the Air? Is that what you said?
Parks on the Air. Mhm.
Parks on the Air. You can go
Awesome.
on a ham radio on about any fucking day. Go through the 40 meter. You'll find Parks on the Air someplace. They're there, and they're just doing check-ins. And it's a great way for you to make a contact. And I do, for my ham radio, I do way more listening than I do talking. My radios are more for me to listen to things.
Yeah, for our listeners, why don't you guys explain what that is?
Yes.
It's just guys that are trying to get as many contacts as
Right.
they can.
So I'll give you the perfect example, and I'm going to ask you, have you done this yet, Jason? So you can go online and look up the International Space Station's flight path.
Yep.
And figure out when it's going to pass within your window of an opportunity to communicate with it. And when it passes over at that time, if you get on your radio and you call them, you can talk to an astronaut on the ISS, and they will send you. Jason, I don't remember because I'm not this deep into it. What are the cards called that you get?
QSL card.
That's what I thought. All right.
QSL
So you get a
card,
QSL card from the ISS that says that you talk to them on this day and everything.
Okay.
Because when you're running a ham radio, you're also supposed to keep a station log. You're supposed to log every person you talk to, their call sign, the time of day, like all that shit. I have a call log. I do. FCC, I have a call log. But that's what you're supposed to do. But so for some people, it gets competitive.
Sort of.
How far can I go on how low a wattage? So we like to use 5 watts a lot and see how far we can talk. And in Wyoming, one night, I got hammered, shit-faced drunk with a couple of my buddies and a dude in Denmark who did likewise because we were talking to him in Denmark.
Nice.
And we told him we're on the plains of Wyoming. We're drinking fucking Pendleton whiskey and getting hammered.
Except over there in Denmark, he was at a much later phase of his night.
He was, and he's like, "Well, if you lot are drinking, I'm going too." And we just spent all night talking to this dude, and we're out on the prairie. We're in Wyoming. We're shooting guns and doing shit. And he's hearing all of this. And he's like, my God, I want to be an American. He ain't nearly as much fun as we are.
Yeah.
Me and my buddies, I had done an event in Texas. I drove from my house in Florida to Austin, Texas. We did in Colorado. To my buddy's house in Austin. We jumped in his Land Rover and we drove to Colorado where we were doing an event. A buddy of mine from Arizona flew in. And then the three of us, after the show, we drove to another buddy of mine's place in Wyoming. And it was a great time. We had so much fucking fun.
That sounds awesome.
We did a float fly fishing trip of the Platte River. And there's this big cornice of snow, like just hanging. It looked like a wave hanging off a cliff as we're floating down the river. It was late in the year, and I looked up at it. And I looked at my guide, and I'm like, hey, dude, can I shoot from your boat? And he went, what? I'm like, a gun. Can I shoot? I want to shoot at that snow and see if I can knock it down. Can I do that? And he's like, I guess. So I pulled a 45 out of my pants and went to work. My two buddies that were with me did likewise. We all shot. And the coolest thing was, I was shooting a Springfield XD45 that time. I could pull the trigger and watch that fucking bullet.
Yeah.
Until it disappeared into that snow up there. And never broke that son of a bitch off. We never did. The greatest conversation was after the fact. As soon as I pulled my gun out and I fired the first round, we had two guides. I was in a boat with a male guide, and my buddies were in a boat with a female guide. And she was a fucking hoot. She was so funny. I fired the first round, and I heard her go, "Can he do that?" And the male guy in my boat, he's like, "He's fucking doing it." We had so much fun. But Jason, get back to ham radio, because that's what I'm not trying to cut you off. I know it's a little shit.
No, you're good. You're good, man.
But what do you have going on that we need to let people know about? Because guys, if you're not following Ham Radio 2.0 everywhere they can be followed, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You need to be doing so.
Yeah.
So what do you got on the horizon, man? What are you looking at? What's coming up? Where can we see you? What can we do?
Well, the biggest ham radio show every year is actually right here in it's in Ohio, outside of Dayton, Ohio.
Wait. You just said it's right here. You live in Texas, man.
I meant it's in the United States. There's a couple of big shows. There's a big show in Tokyo. There's another big show in Germany. But the biggest, still, that's a good question.
What the fuck's my whiskey glass? Oh, there it is. I found it.
You probably drank it. Did you shoot it?
No, not yet.
Shot it.
But it's early. All right. So what else, man?
So Hamvention's coming up. That's a big show. Let's see. There's a big show in Huntsville, Alabama in August. That one's pretty good. In July, my wife and I are going to Colorado. We're going to tour the state of Colorado and hit all the national parks.
Hey, all right.
Sweet.
I'm going to text you because I'm going to be in Montana on the 27th.
No, we'll be there the first week of July.
Is that all you have? Is the first week?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, we're coming home July 5th. I was in Montana last year. We went to Yellowstone, spent a week in Yellowstone last year, came back through Montana and went South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but we were I was with my ham radio buddies. We were doing parks on the air at every place we went to.
No shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. So what's your traveling kit for comms? Give us a breakdown of what you take.
My current go-to HF radio is my Yaesu FTDX10. I just recently put it into a Everly stock FAC bag, and it's got a lot of extra stuff in there with it. Heil headset, microphone, a couple of roll-up infed half-wave antennas, roll of coax, that kind of thing. I've got a
battery. What about batteries?
I carry a couple of battery boxes with me. When I go somewhere, I'm usually driving. I'm usually not flying. I have a flying kit also, but a couple of battery boxes I have with me. I got a 100 amp hour mini lithium iron phosphate battery in one box.
Oh, nice.
I got a couple of 20 amp hour battery boxes, that kind of thing. So I kind of switch back and forth on all that. I just got done putting a totally independent battery system in the back of my truck, 460 amp hour
Holy
Epoch
shit.
battery. Yep. With the whole Victron system and charging and all that kind of stuff. So
You tied it into the charging system from the truck,
Yep,
keep it up.
yep,
And,
yep,
nice,
yep.
bro.
Did all that. So
Do you have, let me ask you this, you got pictures or video of that anywhere?
I just finished the video and it will it's being edited right now, so it'll post probably in a couple weeks.
Well, listen, when you have that video done, please send me the link so I can put it out everywhere, because look, guys, he's talking about his traveling comm set. This is the world we live in. This is what we want. We want mobile comms. We don't want static comms. So when you put that video ready, dude, please send me the link so I'll blast it out everywhere. You throw it out. We'll get you some views and good stuff. So
awesome. That'd be great.
Because I run in my truck, I've got a Hytera. It's just a VHF though. So I got to be able to hit towers. And I'm thinking about HF mobile's difficult though, isn't it? On a vehicle.
It's really not. It's not as difficult as people make it out to be. I mean, the simplest and most common setup these days is a Yaesu FT891 with the ATOS antenna that they make. And you can get a Tar Heel antenna, which is another brand of screwdriver antenna, or you can get ham sticks that are single band. But the Yaesu FT891 and the ATOS, which is also made by Yaesu, they marry up together, so it's almost just like push button HF.
So you don't need a tuner involved then. The radio's doing the tuning to the antenna. The antenna will adjust itself.
Correct.
And then you can talk.
Yep.
All right. Yep. So which radio is that again? Say it again.
Yaesu FT891.
There you go.
It's the smallest, most compact 100 watt radio in production right now.
Does it do VHF also?
It does not. No.
So it's HF only.
It's HF only. You're familiar with the 857, right? You use that one in the books?
No, I had one. I used to have the only radio that was my first radio. Okay. And I love that radio. Yeah.
So the 891 is the updated version of the 857, except they took out VHF, UHF. It's a better HF radio than the 857 was. It's just newer with better filtering, and a bigger screen, but they took out the VHF, UHF, and some people were upset about that. I kind of think they missed the ball on that, but regardless of that, it's a fantastic 100 watt HF mobile radio.
Nice. And it's not that complicated, guys. Even for a guy like me who's been out of it for decades, technology's changed, and I can take a simple inverter and I can hook it up in my truck, and I don't need the battery boxes and all these other kind of things he's talking about. But a battery box backup is a good idea in case you run out of fuel in one of these emergencies. Now you have some battery power that you can keep communicating on. So
I'll tell you guys this:
the more you get into ham radio operator stuff, the more you'll find that it is pretty interesting. You just got to get past the whole licensing thing so you can actually participate.
Yes,
in it.
Ham radio is one of those things that you really do got to get the license before you can even participate, guys. But get it. It's fucking Mel. Mel has a tech license, guys.
Does she?
Yes, Mel has a license. She does. Mondays at 7:30. We had to bump it because we moved it around. T, you're being all fucking quiet. I'm sorry, but we moved it around. T's podcast on Monday nights at 8. We moved our DMR radio check-in on the Stump Knocker Network to 7:30 on Mondays, so you can check in but still catch T's podcast.
Nice.
And but hop on DMR. So there's so much you can do with radio, guys. You can do VHF from a handheld from your vehicle. You can do HF from your vehicle or base unit. I'm not going to say handheld because I don't believe in it. Then you can do DMR, and that's where you add something like a Pi-Star and some internet, and now you can talk around the world sitting on the fucking couch in the living room. Really? I do a radio check-in on Monday nights. I've got a guy in Australia that calls in every night. David's his name. Great dude.
And we talk basing yourself off of a internet or cell network.
So when I keep my microphone, yes, you do need. This is real world, not real world. This is current, present world stuff. As long as the internet is operational, I sit on my couch out there with a handheld, and I talk to dudes in Texas and North Carolina and all over the fucking world on Monday nights on my check-in. Australia. And he's doing the same thing. He's probably sitting in his living room or wherever the fuck he's at. And he's got internet access tied to his radio. So the Pi-Star, you get that, you program it, it ties to your radio, it's connected to the internet. So when you key your mic, your signal goes to the Pi Star, into the internet, and anybody who else happens to be in that exact place on the internet, which is the stump knocker chat, we call it, they'll be able to hear it. So it's anywhere in the world. So as long as you have internet, it works. But then the great thing is with radio is without internet, I can still talk around the world if I need to.
But I can send you pictures on Signal.
I can send you pictures on HF radio.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
I can send you an email over my HF radio.
You can connect there's some small devices that tie to internet that you can connect to a laptop, and you can tie the radio to the whole map. And I actually do this in my books too. And you can send text messages, emails, fucking images, whatever you want via HF radio. Just send it. Now, the problem is, like, let's say you want to send a message or a picture. That's a lot of fucking data.
Yeah.
That's going to be an energized signal for a long fucking time.
Yeah, we had when going back to when we went into Afghanistan with Carl and I, sending in pictures. That was our job as snipers. We're supposed to send, but we're talking one of the most remote areas in the world. Not to mention all the mountains and the terrain.
Well, you guys had DoD satellites up there. You're talking.
It still didn't work.
Really?
Still didn't work. So we had to preclude any. We had to go back to an old system where we just described what was on the objective.
No shit.
We couldn't get digital to work.
But you know what?
Even on satellite and HF.
Oh, you couldn't get it to function on all right. Well, then your antennas were fucked up. Because listen, am I right or am I wrong? When you talk HF radio, antenna is everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yes. It's actually everything for VHF too, because you can take a 5-watt Baofeng, and if you put a 100-foot VHF antenna up, if you can somehow get an antenna 100 feet in the air, you can talk everywhere you want to on VHF. So antenna is always the most important thing in any radio.
I've got a 120-foot dipole in my backyard on a 45-foot tower.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
But now we're talking 2001. So if you have any interruptions to that signal,
it's all gone.
Or digital, you lose the whole thing.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So we couldn't send anything digital because we'd always lose it. I mean, you're almost there to the end, and then you lose the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we only, we're only got so many batteries in the backpack.
Look, I know that struggle well because I watched a team out at Robin Sage. They'd put out their big ass solar panels, and they were trying to charge batteries, and they left them out in the fucking rain. And Cadre caught it and picked all that shit up and took it with them. And those guys walked back out there and where's our shit? It's all fucking gone. They had the radios the batteries in their fucking radios, and that was all they had. They were looking for all kinds of answers.
Lithium does not like water.
No, lithium does not. Lithium and water is
not a good mix.
A lot of guys have experienced marriages like that. It's called explosive.
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah. My wife has her general license, by the way.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, look, I was ecstatic when my wife got her tech. Like it,
I was too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it impressed me. I'm never going to, but you have your extra, right?
No, I'm a general. You
didn't go extra.
I want to. It's just, I mean, the extra gives you some extra stuff, but I mean, I can talk on 80% of everything I need to with the general license, and that's where most people hang out on the HF bands anyway. Parks on the air all day long, man, with the general license, no problem. So yeah, no, but I'll get my extra eventually. I just haven't put the effort into it yet.
Me neither. I've got my general as well, and I don't see because the only reason I got a ham license was to start learning to use radios, because I'm looking to the period in our very near future, folks, where comms won't be a thing. Your cell phone's not going to work. Your landline's not going to work. Internet's not going to work. None of it's just going to work. And it's not because it's the end of the world. It's going to be because our government has cut us off from those to keep us from communicating.
Well, and that's what I keep saying about Starlink, man.
Yeah.
It still relies on satellite, and the satellites can either be damaged through asteroid,
or destroyed,
Armageddon, or they can be hacked and taken over, or the government can say, nope, flip the switch. I mean,
we know for a fact that the Russians have killer satellites in orbit. specifically designed to kill satellites.
Yeah.
They're there.
I've heard
Well,
that.
and you gotta do it too, because I mean, you got to get some practice in before. Like I just discovered during Hurricane Helene.
Oh,
After the hurricane comes through, that's not the time to take out the textbook and try
Correct.
to learn to turn the radio.
Very
on.
yeah. Game day is not
Very
the
true.
day to learn a
You
new
got to get
skill.
some practice in there, and,
Yeah.
and I'm guilty of that because I'm not a great conversationalist. I don't like to stay on the phone very long.
No.
My buddy tried to get me into talking to the dead. You know, he talks to dead people. I'm like, I'm not talking to ghosts. I don't even like talking to
what?
real people.
You need to stay away from those mushrooms, Sue. I'm just
But
telling you.
What kind of people are you hanging out?
I've gone ghost hunting with Sue and this friend he's referring to, and we had a ball.
Not
We
me.
had a blast.
Not me. I don't want. If you're dead, I don't want to talk to you no more. You know.
You're not getting the money for it.
Yeah, but you're
Not
not talking
good.
to ghosts. So it was fun.
It was fun. Nice.
Yeah, we walked around the woods.
I got loads of thermal and night vision shit. I'll go somewhere.
We didn't need it because it's not like you're going to see anything.
Well,
That's
I'm just saying.
That's just for real, man.
you got both sides of the coin right here. I'm not going to see anything. I'm just saying that shit's for real. I actually believe the shit's real too. I genuinely do.
I can feel it. I can feel hairs going up on the back of my neck and everything. Like,
That's
I'm
just-
out of here. I'm out. Cut me out.
I didn't know you could sense that when I was jerking off.
No. No, I
Oh boy.
had a dream.
That's exactly what it feels like.
I had a dream that I was talking to the devil. I mean, straight to hell, right?
No shit.
And he says, "Oh, it's not bad here. Do you smoke?" And I said, "Well, occasionally." He says, "Well, that's what we do on Mondays. We smoke and everything." He said, "Do you drink?" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's what we do on Tuesdays." And he's like, "Do you like to gamble?" I said, I love Texas Hold'em.
You're going to
He
hate
says,
Sunday.
Wednesday, that's what we do on. He said, "Are you gay?" I said, "No." And he says, "You're going to hate Thursday."
You're going to hate Thursdays. Yeah.
I've heard that. That's good.
So I got a question for you, Jason, and this is genuine for me.
All right.
I run Anytone 878s as handhelds.
I got one.
And I got a bunch of Baofangs too.
Mhm.
But if someone's trying to step into handheld world, what would you point them to? Where would you say I would start with this?
So I actually have some videos where I talk about that. I tell people go buy the most expensive radio that you can afford. And if that's a $25 Baofeng, then fine, do it. But and a Baofeng's a great entry level. I'll often talk to some other people come by my channel and you can tell they're not radio guys. And I'm like, okay, so when you guys go out to your tactical, you go to the shooting range and you pull out a high point. Do people look at you funny? Because that's you take a Baofeng to a ham radio place.
Yeah. They're going to hate on you. Yeah.
Some people are. They're a great entry level. Okay. I have a bunch of Baofengs myself. I take them out to the deer lease. If I lose one, I don't care.
You're right.
But yeah. So there's another company called Woxon, Wouxon. It's actually pronounced Oshang or something like that. They're about $150 radio. The Anytone's a good radio. You can get a Yaesu FT65 for less than $100. You can get the ICOMs and the Kenwoods are upwards of $300, $400, $500, $600 range. So it really depends on whatever your budget is. Take that and spend as much as you can, because the higher cost radios are generally better quality as far as receive and transmit, but they also have more features in them, more channels.
Sure.
Some of them have digital modes, that.
And
kind of thing.
like the difference is like, say, a Baofeng's filter for RF is the size of a pencil eraser. Okay. Small.
Right. Yeah.
The Yaesu is the size of the tip of a toothpick. That's the difference.
Okay.
And that's why sad hams hate on Baofeng. Yeah, they're not a precision instrument.
Yeah.
They don't need to be. Neither is a nuclear weapon. Both will cover an area for you.
Right.
You don't have to be that accurate. So
yeah.
the Baofeng radio will work. They function just fine. And you can do all kinds of shit with them. Now, I don't run them, but I have a bunch for the day I got to hand them out. And I don't know how many of those I've given away to people that are interested or thinking, I'm like, well, here's your fucking radio. Go get your license.
You know what? I don't know shit about radios, right? And our friend Dan, a few years ago, gave me a Baofeng. It's the same thing. He's like, well, how about I, give you a blah, blah, blah. And I go, hey, listen, I don't think you understand. I don't know the difference. And he's like, gotcha.
Balfang it is.
Yep. Oh, here you go.
But they fucking work. People complain about them and bitch about them, especially the sad hams.
Oh yeah, they work. Mm-hmm.
They work.
Yeah.
And they will take abuse beyond what you can imagine they would take.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them used in some hellish conditions. I mean, the Russian, when the Ukraine-Russia war thing first kicked off, I don't mean when the separatists were fighting in Donbass and Luhansk, but when Russia rolled in, was headed to Kiev, they were using fucking Balfangs, guys.
Really?
The Ukrainian military and the Russians, both sides. I watched the evolution of the comms. Balfangs. And then Hytera showed up. You started seeing them on both sides because Hytera you can encrypt. And then I started seeing Motorola. So I'm seeing Motorola presently. I don't know if you watch any of this stuff, Jason, but
a little bit. Yeah, Motorola's are getting well, and all the Hezbollah blowing up radios were all ICOMs, but they were ICOMs that were 30 years old.
So exactly. They're everywhere. And the Balfangs will take far more beats. In Ukraine, they're switching to Motorola. You're seeing the Balfangs fade out, and you're seeing more Motorola's, you're seeing less Hyteras. So Motorola got in there and stuck it to them because Motorola does that.
As money starts flowing in?
Yeah. Well, Motorola won't. Well, I mean, they kind of will, but they won't sell you a radio. A lot of time you got to buy a license.
Okay.
Right, Jason? I mean, they sell some off-the-shelf radios, but with Motorola, generally, it's a license.
The radio itself you can buy. It's the programming software that takes the license.
So there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you see it. So I've watched even in Syria, when that shit first kicked off with ISIS and all of them. I watched that from day one, tracked it very closely, and I look at weird things.
You're talking about like 2014.
Yeah. Same time as the Maidan. Interesting, isn't it? The Maidan happened in 2014 too. That's strange, guys. Coincidence. But I watched the evolution of comms, and they all went Balfang. Then you'd see maybe Hytera or an Anytone. And just working up the food chain and to ICOM, to Motorola, to but because as you know, you were over there recently in let's just say in an engagement situation. And Jason, I know this is outside your purview a little bit, but we're talking tactical comms here. So in an engagement, God damn, hello, your team. How important were your team's comms to the outside?
I mean, especially with what I do now, they're critical.
Critical.
They're critical. But also, anybody who's been on a lot of ops knows that the first thing you expect to fail is your comms. Always.
So,
the last time I was in marriage counseling, that marriage counselor looked at me and just said, "You don't know how to communicate." I was like, "You've been talking to my team sergeant?"
All right. Now, this is for you guys. Imri just told you guys that in real world, operational use, the first thing they expect to go down is communications. So we create what we call a 100%. PACE plan. Do you know what a PACE? You've heard PACE, right? All right.
Sure.
You've heard PACE.
Primary, alternate, contingency, emergency.
Right. We have 4 layers of communication. The last one's going to be visual, right?
Yeah,
well, if you have 17 panel or fucking smoke or
it depends.
Star cluster or something.
It depends. We don't have to get into the whole thing, but yeah.
No, I'm saying in general.
For me, the last thing is I'm running emptying my fucking magazine.
That's not communications. That's well,
that's how I communicate.
It's one-way communications. But
no, I'm sorry.
We have a primary, an alternate, a contingency, and an emergency communications plan. Do you? And I'm talking to you guys out there. Do you guys have that? So your primary, what? Cell phone. We all use cell phone.
Right.
Number one thing. Cell phone always works. Well, if that doesn't work, what do I do? Oh, I'll email. I can email, or I might instant message somebody, right?
Yeah.
So we're working
the same.
They're all using the same infrastructure, and if that infrastructure goes down, now what do you have?
Yep.
If your entire thing relies on internet, your entire communications protocol relies on internet, folks, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Ham has to be.
But my point is, for all you guys watching tonight, I mean, this is a good group to start practicing now. And back up on this, I'm sure. If you don't practice this before the real situation. It's going to be, and I have started my book, but
I'm going to make him finish it.
My book starts out in the invasion of Grenada.
Yeah.
Operation Urgent Fury.
Urgent Fury, great place to start.
The Rangers jumped in, and then the 82nd Air landed. We were supposed to jump in. We could not talk to the Rangers. We couldn't talk to the Navy. We couldn't talk to the Marines.
Well, you didn't talk to the Navy. The SEALs drowned.
Nobody practiced the communication before, and then we got called out.
Way too far.
This is supposed to be this is during the Cold War.
This is
and we're supposed to be going to save the world.
Real operation. Yeah.
And this is a real operation, and nobody could talk to anybody.
Nobody could talk to anybody. They put the Navy SEAls out too far offshore, and they all drowned on the infield.
It was a goat screw.
It was a fuck up. I mean, we won the engagement because we grabbed Noriega, but it's not a shiny.
Grenada.
I'm sorry, Grenada. We got the students out. We got the students out in Grenada. We got them out. So the operation was technically
the students were just an excuse to go there.
Oh, I know.
It was
it had been too long.
My point is, if we all want to survive any kind, whether it's a natural or man-made disaster, if we want to survive it, you need to start practicing to communicate now.
Ahead of time. You are not going to become a ham radio expert on game day. You are not going to become a tactical ninja on game day. You're not going to become a marksman on game day. You're not going to become a fucking gardener or a farmer or nothing on game day. You got to have all this shit in place ahead of time. And I stuck this up here. I'm going to do this real quick. Guns and gear, when I'm fucking done with it. And I am working on it. It's in progress, guys. It's just... life's complicated.
Oh, so now it's book 13. Yeah, we gave you shit about book 11, right?
Yeah, you did. No, they gave me shit about every fucking book. But I want you guys to start giving Jason some shit. If you are here tonight because Jason is on the show, I want you guys to start beating his ass and make him write a book. And Jason, I will help you through every step of it. I want nothing in return. Trust me, I don't want shit from you, dude. I want to see you successful and succeed and immortalize. That's the thing. Once you've written a book, dude, you are immortalized in eternity. You've written a book. Your name goes down in history. Think of that. That's something. You got a lot of knowledge, dude. Like,
I'll circle back to it. I've got an outline done, so I'll circle back to it. You've kind of inspired me.
I've never done that. So, I ain't never done that line.
I just brain dump. Yeah, but yeah. So
I've never done that line. I second that. Book 13, please.
Yeah, book 13. You release book 11 in November of one year, and then book 12 in November of the next year, and the November of the following year, which is last November, we got nothing. So everybody's itching for it, man.
Well, look, last November was fucked up, dude.
Well, that's not my problem. Come on.
The world's been a bit of a mess, and then I decided to go ahead and go into the fucking utility business in the middle of it, and I'm buying bucket trucks and getting guys to go climb poles and do shit, and I'm doing all that right now too. But I'm trying to do more. I would love to do an HF net one night, dude. I need to get up. If you're in Texas, I don't know if I could hit you with Nivis or not.
No, you'd want a regular. No, you'd want to
go.
I talk to Georgia, Florida, North South Carolina every day on that. I set up HF out here. Just
what? All right. When you do that, what antenna are you using?
Various antennas, just end-fed half-wave, vertical screwdriver, vertical telescoping whip. All
right, so guys, one day here soon, Jason, I'm gonna text you. We'll set this up. We're gonna do an HF thing one night, one afternoon, because it's always better than evening. We'll do it late in the evening, but like you be there, I'll be there. We'll see how many guys we can get to pop in. We'll do some things. I might even make some QSO cards. I've never done that, but I might make one for some folks for an event with you. Just
actually, evening's the hardest time to do it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. It depends which band you're on. Sometimes daytime's great for this band, nighttime's great for that band. 40, 80, 20, 10, whatever it is. It just depends. Well, 10's VHF, but you can get into 40 and 80 night and day.
It's on the ham radio operator test. I mean, if you don't try to communicate in the heat when the sun's going down.
What if you have to communicate? Switch bands.
It just depends on which band you're on. You can use there's at least one band you can use at any time of the day, 24 hours a day. So,
but you've got to realize what band it is and be in that band. And so does whoever the fuck you're talking to. So for you guys watching, what Jason just said is a small thing, but it's actually a huge thing. You need to establish your comms SOPs now. That all right, from dawn to dusk we will talk on 20 meter or 40 meter, and from dusk to dawn we'll talk on 80 meter or 40 meter or 20. You work out whatever you're gonna work, or 10 meter, whatever the fuck it is for you. But you need to have that in place before the balloon goes up, before game day. You need to have a communications SOP in place for the people that you wish to communicate with, wherever they are in the fucking world. But you need to establish that now. And if you're sitting there at home thinking, well, I don't have nobody to communicate with, set up your comms SOP now, and then the people you connect with, you share that with them. Say, hey, I'll be on 80 meters every day at this time. Or I'll be on 40 meters every day at this time.
Now, what about, but what about encryption, homemade encryption?
So, anytime,
photographing that kind of stuff, do these bad hams, do they not like it?
No, they don't like encryption. Fuck no, they don't.
Sad hams don't like that.
The sad hams don't like encryption.
Will the NSA get very upset with you if you do it your homemade?
It is illegal to transmit encrypted information via ham radio right now. Really? Yeah, it's very much. The government wants to know what you're saying. All right.
See, now that's kind of sad.
That's why it's called amateur radio. It's not professional or commercial radio. It's amateur radio. The purpose of amateur radio is to promote the radio arts and radio science. So prepping is a fairly new thing, and that's not really. It's not really what it was designed for, although it's one of the most useful tools for prepping.
That might be something that you might want to put in your book, is how to do.
Well, all right, hang on. I'll
make encryption.
We'll talk about it. What was your question?
I'm looking at that.
It was probably exactly what Sue's getting at. I was asking so you're talking about the actual encryption of the data you're sending.
Yep.
But they can't tell you First Amendment. They can't tell me not to use a code, Pig Latin, that you and I speak.
So in current, present, real world conditions, you cannot send anything encrypted at all. The FCC, that'll get their attention. That gets their attention faster than any fucking thing else.
Really? Okay.
Well, because they're looking for threat. Because of the Patriot Act, the threat can be anywhere.
And so let's take that to not even the extreme, but to the moderate for a minute. Let's just say you and your buddy decide we're going to communicate encrypted. Jason, would you recommend that?
Where?
No, if we're going to communicate HF encrypted. Would you recommend doing that right now?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you can't do that now. The FCC, and the sad hams are the ones that will hunt you now. The FCC is not going to do it. The sad hams will do it for them.
Well, they probably can't decode it, so it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, he's right here. Well, RF signal is RF signal.
True. Yes.
Spectrum analyzer, I can see it. And I've got a spectrum analyzer.
They'll do DF you quick.
Dude, a spectrum analyzer is this fucking big and that thick, and you make a Yagi antenna, and you stand there and walk in a circle and go, oh, there's a spike. Let's walk in that. It's that simple.
Really?
Yep.
But once the balloon goes up, but the other side of this is the FCC does not have the manpower, budget, equipment, or whatever to run around this country and bust guys.
Listen to everybody's bullshit.
They don't. The sad hams are the ones that do their job for them. And again, they're aging out. Jason, would you agree? Those are the boomers. I hate to say that.
Yeah, and they're not those guys are really, really loud on the internet. You don't hear those assholes on you don't hear them on the air. You just don't. I mean, I very rarely run into them.
But until they're there, I can't tell you how many motherfuckers I've listened explain their comm shack, their ham shack, their fucking radio setup, what antenna they're talking on, what fucking amplifier they have, all the horse shit, and I fucking hate it. To me, communications are just that. I'm communicating. I have message. I have information I need to deliver to somebody else.
Well, but if you go to a gun club, you guys are all sitting there talking about your build out of your AR-15s. It's the same thing in every hobby.
Yes.
You go to a 4x4 club. You're going to talk about the build up of your 4x4 rig. Okay, it's the same thing in every hobby. So I like to trade information like that, but it's like, once you get on the air, if you get on these check-in nets and everyone shares a 20-minute story about their setup, that gets redundant. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But if I'm out at Parks on the Air and people say, dude, you got a great signal, where do you use it? I'm like, dude, I'm using 100 watts in on an in-fed half-wave antenna with a wire that's 12 feet in the air.
See, that's the information that I want.
Right.
That's
same here. Same here. Yeah.
Like, because ham radio is so cool. You can have a NIVIS antenna, which is shaped like this.
Mhm.
You can have a middle fed dipole that is shaped like this, or you can have an end fed dipole that is shaped like that. Or you can have a long wire that is just that. Like there's so much different shit. There's different ways of sending this information. And for all those that are out there that are worried, oh, the government's listen. If you carry a cell phone, go fuck yourself.
No doubt.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
If security, be it physical, electronic, online, whatever you want, is not convenient, folks. If you want to live a secure life, you're going to be very inconvenienced because security takes effort. It takes effort to get out,
practice,
and it takes a whole lot of effort to get in.
And always sacrifice.
Well,
remember when I grew up in the 70s, and that was during the CB craze. All the truckers had them. Everybody put
1,000-watt amps, 8-foot whip antennas.
Everybody was doing the CB thing.
Yep.
And then for some reason it just died out. I mean, did it
Except with truckers,
or did it get regulated?
No, it didn't get regulated. Truckers still use it a lot, and a lot of people still use CB. And that's a great place to do business as far as communications is CB, because some people aren't looking at it. But you got to remember, it's also the most available bandwidth to the public.
Right.
So CB has a lot of uses. A lot of people don't utilize it for what it can do.
Right.
Like it's great. You get a CB and get 1,000-watt amp or another HF radio, and you jailbreak it, like one I have. I'm working on right now. I'm jailbreaking it. I'll be able to transmit it on CB. That radio.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of shit. So you can have a single radio that'll talk on VHF, UHF, HF, and CB.
And you got scanners too that can listen to military frequencies and police frequencies.
I can listen to all that shit on my HF radio, but they're going to be encrypted.
Can't transmit it.
But at 900 megahertz, they're using internal encryption, and I can't hear the police. And it's hard. You've got to get a very special scanner, guys, if you want to do 900 megahertz trunking communications. Trunking confuses thing. Jason, can you explain trunking to folks? Because I'm in the present moment can't.
Trunking is basically where you take a group of frequencies. Let's say you have 5 or 6 different frequencies available in your trunk system. And if you and I, Chris, are having a conversation, then 2 of these other guys could key up and have a conversation at the same time on a different set of frequencies, all within this trunk system. Right. So it's not spread spectrum frequency hopping FRSS. It's not the same thing as that, but it's similar. It's using a group of frequencies, but when you key up each time, it might change these frequencies and kind of keep you guessing.
Yeah, and officers
doing frequency hopping.
It's
sort of.
It's more like frequency variable.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all in one spectrum, and anything that comes into that spectrum will hit that tower and go back out, and that's how cops communicate. And it's encrypted, and it's all kinds of shit. You're not gonna, unless your law enforcement are using a simple VHF system, you're never going to be able to listen to them.
So my dad was a firefighter growing up. Ben in the chat says trunking is digital. It's not, or it can be.
Which Ben? Hang on. Which Ben?
Ben Williams.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
yeah, Ben Williams. Good.
It can't. So my dad was a firefighter when I was in high school, and they went the town that he was the assistant chief in. They went to a trunking system on the 800 megahertz band that was all analog, and he had the frequencies. He's like, here's the frequencies. I took my Radio Shack scanner and put all the frequencies into my Radio Shack scanner and just scanned those frequencies. I wouldn't hear 100% of the conversation because if it stopped on one, there might be something else going on in the other one. But you could totally hear that it was not encrypted, it was not digital, it was all analog. And it was in the 800 megahertz band. So some of your smaller, more rural areas today still use systems like that. Some of the really out in the sticks fire departments still use just regular old UHF 450 to 460, something like that. But you can trunk analog systems, but you can trunk digitally encrypted P25 systems as well. So it's kind of it goes both ways.
So let me ask you this, Jason. If there's somebody watching tonight that's watching this shit and going, I'd really like to get into ham radio, but I don't know exactly how to begin. I'm going to preface this by saying, to those of you out there who are listening to us tonight, VHF and UHF are very different. So is HF.
Yeah.
But start at VHF. That's my advice. Jason, what would you tell somebody who's watching tonight and going, I think I'd like to try this, but where should I start? What would you tell them? Where to go, what to buy, what to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have classes on that are free to watch on my YouTube channel that will take you through the entire technician training course and show you where to go take practice tests and whatnot. So you can buy a book on Amazon or at a local ham radio store. You can Ham Radio Prep is a good app on your phone. That is a paid app, and you can save 20% with my coupon on that app. You can get other free apps out there.
Why didn't you fucking send it to me so I could put it out there? What the shit?
I can
email that to Russ right now. No.
I can tell you guys don't watch my channel.
I don't want a single motherfucker watching this tonight to buy that shit without buying it through your fucking link. Email it to Russ right now. While you're talking, email it to Russ, and Russ will get up on the screen. Guys, as you know, Russell Sawyer is in the background tonight. He runs the back end for me, for T. He's doing amazing shit. He's an Air Force veteran. Chair Force veteran.
Chair Force.
He was an SP, though. He was actually combat arms, so I'm going to give him some credit.
Russ. SF now.
Russ, look
Security
at
forces.
me. I've said you're combat arms. Don't give me shit. But send your link, bro.
Down there. He's like,
I just sent it to him in the chat.
I don't want to get started doing this.
Jason, please send your link to Russell.
I just put it to him in the chat. It's in the chat. It's in the private chat.
Russ, put it up on the screen. That would be my CB handle, snafu.
Yeah.
Russ, put it out in crayon for T.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, Cran. No, he ain't a Marine. T is not a Marine. I love T.
You know what though?
T's my brother. I went to Marine Corps.
T would have been a fucking awesome Marine.
He would have been. T would have been.
I don't know if I'm supposed to take that as a compliment.
No, it's a compliment, brother.
Bro,
it is a compliment.
You'd
Okay.
have been humping the pig. That'd be your job.
Dude,
The
I
pig.
mean,
He'd have been a
He got a pretty mouth.
Day one, today he retired to today because he's like, "Fuck you! I don't want your officer rank. I want this fucking."
No, I'll carry this.
I'll carry this 26 pound.
If you would have retired,
Hey guys, on that note, I got to cut it. I've got a long day tomorrow because I have that thing called a job. I had to go back to work. Amber made me get a job again. She said I couldn't be a
I'm
kept
working
man.
on that for you. I'm just telling you, I'm working on that.
No, I know. But hey, on that note, it's been an awesome time. Jason, good talking to you, man.
You too, man.
If you can make it to Mountain Readiness, let me know. My email is in that group email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Russ, thank you.
And hit me up if you got any questions. We've got a great lineup, a bunch of awesome people, over 50 instructors, probably 80 to 100 classes a day, over 80, most likely closer to 100 classes a day. So definitely worth the trip if you can make it out, man.
All right, man. Thanks. Good to meet you.
Hey, you as well, you guys. Peace out. Good chit-chatting, and we see you next time.
Oh shit!
T, we love you, brother.
Bro, T, thank you
Love
for
you,
hanging
brother.
out with us. I somehow
talk
had
to you guys.
the entire. Oh wait, there it is. Hang on, I found it.
So
I don't know
somebody
what I
said
hit.
in the chat earlier that there was going to be a several radio classes at Mountain Readiness.
Yes, there are. My
Okay.
very good friend Matt, who goes by Brush Beater, is giving some ham radio classes. He's a great guy.
Okay.
You'd like him. You two would get along great. I'd like you to come to meet him, and I
Okay.
want you to come to meet all these other guys. Because my community, we don't look at ham radio as a hobby. My community looks at ham radio as oh shit communications.
Sure.
Like, I need to go talk to somebody, and this is all I got.
That's good.
And that's
and
what
it's
we want
important.
to
I mean, we lived it. Hurricane Helene.
Oh, yeah.
T lived it, I lived it. You can talk to his wife.
yeah.
There was no UHF or VHF. There was no emergency services. There was no 911. Every county emergency manager couldn't talk to the other emergency. No city police couldn't talk to state police.
So
It was horrible.
So on this show, the one thing that I have always said to you guys, and I say it repeatedly because I want to drive fucking home, and Jason, you'll probably echo this for me. Nobody is coming to fucking
Right.
save you.
Yeah.
It is to you.
That's right.
It is up to you. And if you don't have your shit together and your family dies, just think about it. I want you to go to bed tonight. I want you to think about your entire family, wife, your kids, all fucking dying because you don't have your shit together. And it's not because I'm trying to scare you. I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but it is the reality of the world. We have incredible communication systems that are owned by private entities in this country. Right? A corporation in the United States of America is considered an entity. It's considered a fucking person. You need to understand that. And if those entities at any time decide to stop, throttle, or control their communications, that's where you live. Unless you have a ham radio. And I don't mean VHF. It's useful, but I mean VHF or HF, excuse me. I mean HF.
Perfect example of that is when we had Hurricane Helene roll through. You won't go down to Walmart and your cell phone would work. Private company had Starlink and they had everything working there. Or you could go to the casino right in Cherokee there as part of the Harris Corporation, and they had you could communicate from the casino. The problem was, number one, most people couldn't get there, and number two, it was so crowded there that you could
piss y'all. Go ahead.
all these Starlinks and everything was getting overwhelmed because you had 5,000 people trying to talk on their cell phones at once.
Yes.
You know, in two locations. So ham radio, when we talk about PACE, ham radio operator is something you have to get. You have to get your license to participate. It takes a while if you don't know anything about electronics, and you have to study it a little bit, get your tech license, and then just start. It's something that's not going to come naturally to you. You have to actually get in there and participate with people.
Right. It is. So we had in Texas back in 2021, we had what we commonly refer to as the Texas Snowmageddon. It gets cold in Texas, but not like Wisconsin cold. Okay. So that year, in February of 2021, we had a cold front or cold storm come through that brought the temperatures down to single digits in some parts. My wife and I were in Galveston for the month of February, as we often go down there. So we were on the coast in the Gulf of America. We were on the Gulf of America. And
Gulf of America.
And it was like 15 to 20 degrees at night and like maybe 25 degrees during the day for like 4 or 5 days in a row. Well, in various parts of the state, they turned off the electricity. Like the electricity wasn't just out, like it was physically turned off in some parts of the state. And they were doing these, what they called rolling blackouts, but it was BS. They didn't roll anything. They just turned parts off and left other parts on. So I have AT&T on my smartphone, and I have Verizon on my I have a Verizon account on my tablet. And I'll mention WinLink. And
no, that was me. I was stumbling in.
Yeah. So I have both. I had AT&T and Verizon. Verizon worked fine. Now, generally speaking, AT&T is the best network in most of Texas, generally speaking. But I have Verizon.
For me, I use AT&T. I'm gonna amplify his AT&T signal because I had Verizon. I lived in this place for 1 year, and I had zero Verizon signal in my home. I could not get a cell phone call. AT&T can't. Verizon told me, "Oh, you got to add an extra device. You got to do all this horse shit," and they never did it for me. You know, I asked them for it, but AT&T works beautifully here.
So during this time,
by El Paso area where he's at,
AT&T, yeah. But during this week of really cold weather, when we had all the power outages, AT&T would not work like at all. Now, later come to find out, it's because they turned it off for everyone except FirstNet. So first responders got priority on AT&T, and regular Joe Schmo like me, I couldn't get AT&T to work. I would send a text message to my wife, and she'd get it maybe 20 minutes later. She might get it 20 minutes later. So we were, if she got it. So we were on the radio, of course, because she's got her ham license anyway. But my point in saying all that is that just because your cell phone works today, if the shit hits the fan, as it were, they're going to either turn it off for first responders. Everyone's going to pick up your AT&T and Verizon are not built. The network is not built for every subscriber to pick up their phone and dial a number at the exact same time. And a lot of people don't realize that. Okay. So you've got tower outages from storms. You've got too many people on the network at one time. You got them turning off the network because of first responders or some sort of emergency personnel, which is okay to do. I mean, emergency personnel, first responders, they need access to it lots of times more than I do. I could dial 911 if I needed to, but I didn't need to. So it's not, so your smartphone's not always going to be there for you, even if it works today, is my point in saying all that. So we've got, you're talking about Helene, and we had a couple of years ago, we had Hurricane Harvey, I think, come through Texas, kind of the same thing for several days after that. So
destroyed Houston.
Yeah. It flooded. It flooded the shit out of it. Like, folks, we got to understand that the government that we have, even Donald Trump, he is not there for our best interest. He is there for the government's.
And we haven't learned this in 25 years.
No.
What happened after 9/11?
We ain't learned this in 250 fucking years.
What happened after 9/11?
Way more
Everybody
onerous
picked up their
bullshit.
cell phone and like, oh,
yes,
the towers go
right.
down. There were cell phone trunks down all over the country.
Look, I am a very strong proponent of individual liberty. By that I mean you can do whatever the fuck you want to do in your place. I don't give a shit as long as it doesn't interfere with my life.
Yeah.
And it has to interfere in a big way, not in an inconvenient way, but in a big way. Individual liberty, folks.
Right.
That is what ham radio represents. That allows you to communicate with people all over. I mean, 100%. I talk to people in Australia daily. All over the fucking world. You can communicate with people all over the world without a fucking permission slip. Now, in America, we talk about a lot about rights, and we go on about rights and bullshit. But a right, if you look at that word up, right, capital R-I-G-H-T, I don't need a fucking permission slip to use a right. Okay? And if more of you fuckers out there would realize that, there's 115 of you watching right now, 116. If you motherfuckers would realize that we don't need a goddamn permission slip from our government to exercise a right. All right? Extrapolate that a little farther. Why do I need permission from my goddamn government to press the PTT button on my ham radio to talk to Jason in Texas? Why do I need a license to do that? That's the kind of shit you guys need to be thinking about. Who's our government looking out for? It's not for us. Our government is never.
And then in Europe in World War II, the Germans outlawed them. You could not own. You could not own a radio. You couldn't own a receiver.
Right. Think about that. In South Africa,
yeah.
Right now in South Africa, you cannot own an HF or VHF transceiver.
That's not surprising.
You can have one. Now,
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying I'm not surprised.
I'm going to tell you what I did. I've fucking worked several in there.
I know exactly. I know what you're talking about.
I did a thing with a guy that does community protection in South Africa. He patrols communities. He stops the robbery and the vandalism.
But they want that government control is what it was.
But those guys are self-fucking-funded. I sent them thermal optics. I sent them radios. I sent them all kinds of shit. I sent them a ton of shit. Because I believe those guys. Because I believe their fight.
Yep.
Because Rhodesia, and if you people, I'm going to use that term, people don't know the story of Rhodesia, I tell you to go online, Google Rhodesia, watch all the videos and read all the shit you can and understand what happened to that nation. That is what happens when the international community decides that a nation no longer deserves to exist. And the people of Rhodesia fought that fucking war for goddamn years, and they lost. The country of Rhodesia no longer exists.
It's called Zimbabwe.
And its place, thank you, Sue. It's called fucking Zimbabwe.
Check this out.
You know what the Zimbabwe government is begging for right now? the Zimbabwe government is begging for South African farmers to come back to Zimbabwe
Really?
and start planting again.
Who would have thunk it?
Because they realized that turning their fucking land over to ignorant ass locals, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful of Zimbabweans, I'm not. But they don't know how to fucking farm. The white guy brought it to them, and I'm not being a dick. I'm not being racist, but that's what happened. I've got friends in South Africa. I'm actually invested in this interest a little bit because a buddy of mine lives there, and I love that motherfucker. And if he called me tomorrow and said, hey, I need you to come get me, I would move heaven and fucking earth to get that dude out of there because he's living in this horse shit. If you don't know what South Africa is going through right now, you need to start watching videos and understand it because it is what is America is going to go through very goddamn soon.
That's what Israel's going through right now.
It's what Israel is
being
living
ostracized by the rest of the world off of
not only
bad
that,
opinion,
not only
and bad communication. And that's why we need to keep communication going.
Mhm.
Because if you only have one side of information, then that's how they take over countries. And that's what to me that's what ham radio operating is. It's the freedom to get your opinions out there and contradict what the narrative is of an oppressor.
so a ham radio operator by himself can be a counterpoint
Mhm.
to an entire government
Yeah.
operation.
Just like
And-
occupied France.
And you guys, Radio Free America transmitted for fucking decades.
Mhm.
Like you guys listen, you're thinking, that shit will never happen here. Bullshit. Do you remember COVID, people?
Yeah. Right.
Imagine something a little bit worse than COVID. And that's what'll be the next thing. Oh, fuck off.
You're on it. You are on it.
You're not
Brother.
getting the last. I'm getting.
I was gonna give you some. All right.
I got some of them. But no. The reason. I'm sorry. I'm making a lot of noise, being a little ridiculous tonight. The reason we promote ham amateur radio communication so much, it is uncontrollable by the government. Yeah, sure, the government can move a jamming van into Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, fucking New York, wherever, but it's limited. All I can do is walk a little bit farther, get outside of his reach, and I can send my shit. I can talk to people. I can tell people what's actually happening. If you are watching the media and you think that is showing you an accurate representation of what is currently going on in the world, you're fucking retarded, and I hope you never come back to watch this podcast again. If you're watching this because you think, I'm not getting the whole story and things are a little fucked up. Jason, would you agree with that? We're not getting the whole story and things are a little fucked up.
Of course not. No, we never get the whole story. No.
I am far beyond that point. I'll tell you guys right now. I am so far beyond that. If I was to state my current position on this podcast, I'd be arrested tomorrow. Well, I'd be killed tomorrow. But I'm not going to state my current position. But I believe that politicians.
But it's old technique. It's old technique.
No, listen to this. Politicians in this country have zero fear. They don't fear us. They don't fear we, the people. And this goes from ham radio to gun ownership. I don't care what the fuck you're talking about. The politicians in this country are not afraid enough of the voter base, of the people that put them in a position. And I don't mean physically afraid of their personal security and things like that. Although I'm going to caveat that by saying they should be. We need to let them know that we are unfucking happy. And we need to let them know in ways that there is no ambiguity, that they understand which direction we're fucking pointed. Currently, the politicians we elect into office go in to run their own operation or the Soros operation, which oddly enough seems to be their own operation. And I don't mean if he's left, right, middle. I don't mean shit. I'm a personal proponent of anarchy. All right? I believe in lack of archy. We will figure it out amongst ourselves. He'll build the roads. I'll build a fucking road and you can pay me to drive on it. Just like we do in toll roads in every state. I'll build a hospital and you can pay me for treatment. Just like they do. We don't need government. If you guys would get it through your thick fucking heads that we don't actually need a structured government for this shit to work, we'd be better off. And we are all about, in my life, personal individual liberty. That means you should be able to do any fucking thing you want to do as long as it does not impinge on another's liberty. Don't you agree, Jason?
Yes.
Yeah. I should be able to do any fucking thing. I should own a thermonuclear weapon. I should own a goddamn M1A1 tank.
A tank, at
I
least.
should own anything I want to
At least a
own
tank.
as long as I am not impinging upon the right of another
That's right.
person.
Yeah.
Could I lease your nuclear weapon?
I would happily lease you. I have very good deals. I have the best deal. I have the best deal for you, my friend. My friend. My friend.
That's what our forefathers meant by that original Constitution of 1791.
Yes.
The federal government was supposed to be small,
Very small.
Right.
very small,
And Trump.
and the states were supposed to have
Right.
freedom.
I'm going to give Trump credit. I'm not a huge politician fan. I don't know if you are, Jason.
Not really.
I like Trump. Not a fan, but I like him. He's doing some right things. He's doing some very wrong things, in my opinion. But I believe in individual liberty. In that, I mean that I am born, I am sovereign, I am self-aware. I should be allowed to do whatever the fuck I want to do as long as it doesn't infringe upon the liberty of another person, which I personally would never do. If someone said, "Hey, bro, you're impinging upon my liberty," I would step back and be like, "Whoa, fuck, sorry."
The problem is that we have a lot of shitty people in every place on the
That
planet.
is the problem.
A lot of shitty people.
Humans are a shitty fucking
Yeah.
species. That's the problem. We are. We suck. If you go look at
So
macaques.
why do we want to communicate with them?
I want to talk to fuckers. Go try to turn them over.
Yeah. Why do you want to
Go look
communicate
at,
with them?
macaques.
Yeah.
Let's say macaques in Asia. Macaques in Asia act very interesting. Watch their group dynamics and how they interact. And it should be how we interact, except that the government, state, and local, I'm using the capital S and lowercase s in this, step in to infringe upon our right of liberty and tell us how we have to communicate with people. They shouldn't tell me how I have to communicate with someone. You shouldn't compel me to like another group of people simply because you wrote it down. I still don't like those motherfuckers, but you made it illegal. Now you've made it to the point that, well, I want to kill your enforcers because you made my opinion, literally, my opinion against the law. I should be able to hate any group I want to hate. If I want to hate Jews, I should be able to hate Jews.
You should be able to.
And you, motherfuckers, should stand up in the ranks with them to defend the right to hate them.
Yeah.
Just like I would stand in the ranks of anybody that hated white people. I would defend their right to hate that. No matter what their right is, I will defend that right. Because that is what individual liberty is about. The individual thought, the individual action, as long as it does not infringe upon the right of another. So I could hate Imri for being Jewish, but I can't interfere in his lifestyle because he's Jewish. I can call him a Jewish dick if I want. He can call me a fascist dick if he wants. And that's the end of it. And that is a problem with our fucking world. It's like legitimately, communication is the basis of all problems in humankind. Either the lack of or the narrowness of communication develops our problems. And if we can simply get communication down,
Right.
yeah,
Also,
they do it too.
that's why Sue's been married 5 times. I'm just saying.
Well, some people are not meant to be domesticated. Seaux Larreau is one. Alan Kay is. Yeah, Alan, if you're watching, I'm telling you, not be domesticated. Sorry, Rachel. You got an uphill battle.
I should be allowed to be Mormon without having to divorce.
This
every wife.
motherfucker should be allowed to be a godly entity of no subscription that is just among us, who delivers really hilarious Grateful Days and consoles us on our lows, because that's Sue. He knows the lows. He knows the highs. He's been in all of them. If you don't know, guys, if you're watching tonight, especially Jason's guys, if you don't know who Sue, S-E-A-U-X, Larreau, conventional French spelling is, I'm going to tell you to go look him up, and you'll find a lot of, why the fuck?
It's your foot.
No, it's pissing me the fuck
No,
off.
it's your
You're
foot,
touching
dude.
the
No,
keyboard with your
look where
foot.
my mouse is.
No, it's your foot on the keyboard, bro.
All right. Leave my
That's
feet
it,
alone. Leave my
Don't you tell me my business, devil woman.
We're not steak in a little while. I swear to God.
No, don't look me up because then you're going to find a bunch of court cases where I'm being sued for service.
Well, he is that. He is that. There is that. But Seaux Larreau, guys, I'm gonna take a minute, and he don't want me to, but I'm gonna do this anyway. Seaux Larreau is an American legend, guys. If you don't know who Seaux Larreau is,
Hold on.
Look at that.
Ready?
Look at that. Look at that mug. But no, Google his name and read what Sue has done for this country. And as Sue knows, not always under the most ethical conditions.
No.
But he did it no fucking less with a smile on his goddamn face because he's a goddamn evil. Seaux Larreau. He really is an American legend. You look into the Green Berets, you're going to find Seaux Larreau. You're going to find Carl Erickson. Look them two guys up. This guy.
I got a Sue thing. Hold on.
All right, give a Sue thing. Go ahead.
So a few years ago, I was just getting into skydiving. And
I remember that.
Yeah.
And
You were there.
I remember that. I remember it very well.
Well, I'm talking a little bit after that. You're talking about the course when I went through AFF.
Yeah. That's what I was with you.
So, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So a little bit after that, I still hadn't even gotten my license, but I was like at the, almost at the 25 jump mark. We go out. We went to Vietnam to go drop off some puppies. Sue and Robbie, his wife.
Yeah.
That's Fayetteville, North Carolina. There's no.
Yeah, it's Vietnam. Yes.
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
Sorry, my bad.
It's for airborne folks.
So we go to Fayetteville, and so of course let's go to Charlie Mike's. Okay, so I'm like, hey, you know what? I got a buddy who I'm pretty sure he's in third group right now. Pretty sure they're right here, like right now. He's
No
not deployed.
shit.
Let me give him a call. And he's like my age, right?
Yeah.
So I call him. I hadn't talked to him in years.
Imri's like 57. You guys just don't know that.
He was on the USSR demonstration team.
You saw
Yeah, he was on the Black Dagger. So I call my buddy and I'm like, Cody, what's up, brother? I haven't talked to you in years, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I'm coming we're coming into Bragg and we're going to hang out at Charlie Mike's. We got one night to hang out at Charlie Mike's. Please come down and hang out.
He was talking to him at the bar when I walked.
Oh, no. Hold on. Don't fuck up my story.
This is great.
It's your story.
That's all already.
So he's like,
It's a long story.
It's long.
He's hey, shut the fuck up. So he goes, hey, I'll put the kids to sleep. I'll come down and meet you at the bar. Okay, cool. We get to the bar. We're already like 60 kilos deep.
Oh, fuck.
And Cody shows up. So I get up. I go to the door. Give him a hug, right? And I told him on the phone, like, oh, yeah, I'm here with my buddy Sue, and come meet us, come hang out. It's my buddy Sue. No big deal. It's just two of us and Sue's wife.
No pressure. Come on.
So he walks in.
He thought
I give him a hug.
lesbian
Cody, what's up, brother? I haven't seen you in so long, blah, blah, blah. And he looks like around my shoulder. He's shorter. He looks around my shoulder. He goes, oh, hold on. It's fucking Seaux Larreau over there. And I go, yeah, dude. I told you I'm here with my buddy Sue. And he goes, no. That guy over there. His name is Seaux Larreau. That motherfucker. And I go, dude, I told you I'm here with my
friend. He's my friend. He's my buddy.
Right?
He's just a bro.
And he goes, that's who's showing you skydiving? He goes, listen, I just spent a couple years jumping with the Black Daggers. He was Black Dagger.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, Sue came out. He jumped with us with the whole team. He did a bunch of jumps with us. He is a legend. He is a fucking legend. No, hold on,
Timmy. A legend.
He is a legend. He is a legend.
If
But,
you
hold
don't
on,
know
let me
who
finish the
Seaux Larreau, hold on. If you don't know who Seaux Larreau is, you need to know.
He's working on the punch.
Brother, that was you cut in right in the middle of the
Oh no, it's still good. It still works.
So Cody looks around and goes, Sue, that guy is a legend. He's a legend. Don't you ever learn anything about skydiving from him.
Nice.
Yes, I would agree. 100%. Having jumped with Sue in the past, I would agree 100%. He is not your skydiving instructor. He is your skydiving instructor. But jump, guys. Look,
honestly, my two best pieces of advice ever in the skydiving realm, I got from Sue.
Yeah,
No
I don't
bullshit.
doubt that.
The two gems.
Look, you guys watch and don't realize. We have Sue on the show. We got Imri, me, and we're just cutting up and fucking around. You guys don't realize what Sue has done in his background. I'll challenge all of you to go Google Seaux Larreau tonight.
If you can spell it.
The French spelling. He's gay as fuck.
If that profile on adultfriendfinders.com comes up, I'm not really bi-curious. Somebody stuck that in
Not
there.
bi-curious. Oh my god! I didn't even go there. I was just going the other way. But
That was a going away present from fifth
I'm not
grade.
bi-curious.
They
I'm
put me
going to break this.
They put me on there as bi-curious.
Very appropriate. That is very appropriate for fifth group. Like, you guys need to know who Sue is. Like, Sue comes on our show, guys, and he's quiet a lot. But the shit that Sue has given and sacrificed for our nation, the fun he's had on our behalf, like he's a debt of gratitude. Like I'm honored every time.
I appreciate it, but it's not conducive to family life. That's why I'm on wife number 5.
Sue is in the hobby of collecting ex-wives. He's got quite the collection at the moment. They're awesome.
No, this was the last one.
This is like
She's the good one. She's the right one. I'm telling you, Robbie's a fucking angel. You know that.
She's a good woman.
I know that too.
Bad judge of character.
Horrible
way
taste.
bad judge of character.
Horrible taste.
So, Jason, I'm sorry about tonight.
It's all right, man.
Let me ask you, where do we want people to look? Where do you want people to look? Where can we find you? What are you working on? You want people to know about? Like, what do you got coming up that we can support you on? Other than the commercial I'm going to add to my podcast, which I didn't do. No commercials tonight because I'm a little shit-faced. And I just didn't. But I'm going to add you into my commercial rotation for whatever the fuck you point me at. So, Russ, you paying attention? Where do you want people to look?
Well, Ham Radio 2.0 on YouTube. That's my main spot. I'm on Instagram and Twitter also. Ham Radio 2.0. But that's the main thing. I will mention that next month, and a couple of people were talking about this in the chat earlier. Next month, we're going to Springfield, Missouri for a show called the More Expo, which is an overlanding show. Be doing some camping.
Oh, yeah. There's just one down here in Florida, and I missed it, and I wish I could have made the open in there. So, because I just bought a Wrangler.
Yeah.
I just bought a.
So we've been
in the mix now.
We've been going to that show the last 3-4 years. So we're taking Ham Radio to those guys, and they're really excited to learn more about radio. And
nice. I like that. Introduce it. Bring that community in. Roll them up.
Yeah, totally.
Like the warning that Chris was giving you guys.
Yeah, that's my name.
If you're gonna do ham radio operator and the shit really does hit the fan, make it a mobile system.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You can move that radio or backpack with batteries. Be able to move that radio. When I did the old school communications, we were talking about Cold War. We did what we called the BTB, a blind transmission broadcast, and we would communicate one time in a 24-hour period, and then we would get up and move 5 or 10 kilometers away from that area.
Was big tit.
I had the exact same thing in my books. Morgan would make a radio shot, and he would displace 5 kilometers from that position and continue his trip home. And as far as like 5 miles or 5 kilometers in a lateral direction, not a linear, not on my way home, but I'm going to displace 5 clicks on my east-west.
Yeah.
And like communication is the thing, guys. You got to realize that. Like, people don't realize what the OSS and folks like that have done for us in the past and things that they have created. And if you've got people that you want to talk to when the grid is down, one-time pads are a fucking thing. And you've got to transmit those now, today, before the balloon goes up. You don't be sending that shit afterwards. And you go, what do you mean the balloon went up? What I mean is you wake up one morning, your cell phone doesn't work and the internet doesn't work and nothing fucking works. And you walk in that little back bedroom and you turn that radio on and all of a sudden you hear voices and they're there. And they're giving you information from around the fucking country.
But what if I hear voices all the time?
Well, Imri does hear voices all the time.
We have videos for that too.
There's videos, yes, there are videos for that too. Thank you, Jason.
Nice.
But like, where can we point people at? Where do we tell them to look for you, man? Like, what are you up to? Like, where can we point?
I'm just making videos on YouTube, teaching people about ham radio, going to events like the More Expo, and I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna have to look at my calendar and see about mountain readiness. It sounds like it might be a fun time. So,
look, if you guys are thinking ham radio or like I'd like to get in ham radio, you need to look up Ham Radio 2.0. Follow on YouTube. Find Jason. Follow him everywhere he's at. and he will be what we call a gomer. He's going to be a seasoned guy that knows how ham radio works, who will walk you through the experience. And I don't mean calling his ass 10 times a day or sending him 40 fucking text messages. But I mean, he's the guy who will give you on the ground, real world experience applicable to your situation. Because this is how ham radio works. You get into ham radio, you find somebody who knows more than you do, you start talking to them. In my case, it's Sue. I was fucked. I was on my own. I had to do it myself. But you will learn all the things from the gomer, what we call him a gomer, what you need to know about ham radio. And the gomer will be your best source of information, as long as he's not a sad ham.
Yeah, right.
Jason, you are on point. If he's me, you're fucked. If it's Sue, you're fucking dead. I'm just saying. Let's
set up an HF station at Mountain Readiness and work some guys doing parks around the country.
Let's do some OTPs from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what
Totally.
that's what I want everybody who's still on to go home with from me tonight is I didn't realize it until we got into I thought 91, 92, the Cold War's over, don't have to worry about it no more. I just put all that radio stuff on the shelf and I said, hey, I'm an 18 sniper. That's all I'm going to do. I don't care.
He did
about
that
radio
too
no
as
more.
well, guys.
When it's the same threat that we were looking at 30 years ago. So if you get into ham radio, or I suggest you do get into ham radio, but work your way up to HF and learn some Morse code, because in the worst case scenario, after a nuclear strike, that Morse code will still work. It will still work.
And if you have a ham radio, an HF radio, that's capable of receiving such messages, and you don't keep a notepad and a pen lying by that radio, you're wrong. You're not going to translate Morse code in time fast enough. You're not. Guys, a couple hundred years ago could do it. We cannot. So you keep a notepad and a pen laying by there, and somebody will write down that code, dot, 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 dash, dot, dash, dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, dot. You're going to write all that shit out, and then someone who knows what the fuck they're doing will come behind you and translate that.
It's a different language. It's a whole nother language.
It's a whole another language. That's right.
But Jason, would you agree? Ham radio is the only communication system on this planet that a government does not have an off switch to.
I would say, to a certain degree, yes. I would say any form of radio. I try not to limit it to ham radio. Like, if you have a commercial radio and you set up comms on a commercial frequency with your buddies across state lines and whatnot, CB radio can do the same thing. GRS is limited because it's just UHF. But I would say any type of radio that does not require an infrastructure like a cell tower or a satellite to work, anything is good. Ham radio is the most robust and has the most options in a legal in times of peace, where you can legally use it in different forms of transmissions, not only voice but digital, CW Morse code. You can send pictures and send WinLink emails and that kind of thing.
Forget what digital mode is capable of.
Right.
Digital mode on itself is capable of a fucking lot.
Oh yeah, totally.
Images. I download NOAA satellite weather radar or satellite shots as they pass over my house.
Wow.
Onto a laptop with a Yagi antenna.
Okay.
Every time it passes by, I get another snapshot. Every time it passes by, another snapshot.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's all up there.
Slow scan TV also, which is really fun.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So
it's basically sending memes over HF radio, which is really, really fun. So you can get some cool stuff.
For 7 minutes and watch this thing download line by line.
Yeah.
It takes you back to the early days of the internet. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah.
But I highly recommend it. Look, if you don't have, at a minimum, your general. I don't fucking remember.
Hey, Flick Goblin, you're typing something.
What the fuck is that? Oh shit! I was stepping on the keyboard. Thank you, sir. Imri. Your technician license. Technician lets you transmit over VHF using towers and stuff. That's how you step into this art, and I'm calling it art.
Yeah.
HF
Yeah.
is not a science. HF is, I would call it closer to a religion because it takes tobacco blood or tobacco smoke and chicken blood.
I
and shit
love
to make
tobacco
things work.
blood. I do too.
Oh yeah. But no, it takes tobacco smoke and chicken blood to get HF to work right. There's voodoo involved.
Rolling bones is what we
Rolling bones, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
They allow cigar smoking at Mountain Readiness?
Yes, there will be some cigar smoking
should
in your
be.
Mountain Readiness. I believe there are plenty of them.
So maybe I just talked myself into it then.
Well, there you go. You got to come. See, I told you. You got to come.
I'm going to
Now,
try,
yeah.
man. I'm going to try.
Yeah. So, but yes, you need a little cigar smoke and chicken blood and HF to make that shit work. Like,
So
I
when you're
believe-
sober, Chris, what cigars do you like?
What do you mean when I'm sober? I am sober.
I'm never sober.
I'm a great big fan of legal cohibas made in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
I love anything made in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
I like Dominicans as well. Cubans are great, but they're just.
Dominicans are better than Cubans, in my opinion.
I like Dominicans way better, but I like Nicaraguans a lot. Like what I'm getting out of Nicaragua right now is really badass. So
Cool. Good. Okay.
I meant to actually smoke one tonight, but I got caught off guard, so I wasn't quite prepared. But
You probably would have dropped it anyway by
Yeah,
now.
we got buddy. I don't know shit about cigars. No.
hey, you don't know.
Well, they give me a hard time.
However-
So we're gonna start smoking pipes.
Yes, that's
Do
right.
that. My pipe?
I got my pipes here.
My pipe?
I got my little pipe kit.
No, I'll show you guys my pipe.
Oh, can I see your pipe?
Time for me to leave this episode, gentlemen.
Time for me to leave.
Y'all are gonna start showing pipes to one another. I don't think I want to.
Oh, I ain't
Part of
show
that.
shit, Jason. I ain't show shit.
I was gonna pitch Warfighter
Gonna say,
Tobacco.
are we at the
War-
bus station?
Well, actually,
Warfighter Tobacco
Pitch it.
they're friends of ours. They jump with us down at RCPT.
Yes,
They're
they do.
awesome dudes.
Yep.
Sue and I have both been on their podcast. They have a
I know
podcast
them
called
too.
Freedom Friends.
I ain't been on their podcast, but I know them, and I 100%
Yeah,
support
they're
them.
awesome.
Warfighter
awesome.
Tobacco.
Yeah, please check
Warfighter
out
Tobacco. I have
Good
not
friends of
seen
ours.
them.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're all vets. They're out of Texas. They're in San
Really?
Antonio. Yes.
Okay.
You see that? That's
Ooh.
important. Do you see that?
I did not see that.
Do you
What am I
see
looking
that?
at? I got to check my phone.
It says Alan K.
Oh, it's
Check your
Alan.
messages.
Hey, well,
Do that offline.
Dude, this
I know. Look, Alan, he's got 480 unanswered fucking text messages. I'll get to you. But now he's going to answer you because that's important, and you'll answer him.
All right.
But I had
Anyway,
to
check
put that-
out. So I've smoked a bunch of their cigars. I liked them, but my opinion doesn't really matter in that field. But check it out.
Yeah.
one
No,
of
I just pulled up their website. It looks like they got some cool stuff. I'm gonna order a sampler pack. I think.
Yeah, and they'll send you the cigars. They got a system. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's doable elsewhere, but
Oh yeah, I order cigars online all the time.
And Warfighter has great tobacco because I smoked some of them. I have.
yeah, they're good.
I've been at events with them and Iron Horse or whiskey. What the fuck is it? Some horse whiskey.
Oh, Horse Soldiers.
Horse Soldiers. Thank you.
Horse Soldier
Them-
bourbon. They're friends. Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah,
guys.
them and Horse Soldiers together is a shitty combination for a weekend. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, if there's missed some little greener in my pipe, go fuck yourself. Jason,
So
where can people find you? Like, where do they go to find you, to follow you? Like, guys, if you're
Same place as
thinking
last time,
of
man.
radio, if you're curious about radio, if you're just getting into radio, if you are a longtime user of ham radio, go check out Jason's site.
Mhm.
Now, tell us where they can find you, Jason.
Ham Radio 2.0 on YouTube. I'm on Rumble too, by the way. I don't know if you guys are on Rumble, but Ham Radio 2.0.
Yeah, we
on
do that
Rumble.
too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that.
So Ham Radio 2.0 on all the platforms.
There you guys go. Ham Radio 2.0.
Mhm.
Look him up. I recommend highly following him. I recommend watching his videos, even if you know what you're fucking doing with ham radio, or you.
You
I'm
maybe
gonna put it
you'll
to
teach
the
me.
dick. You think you know what you're
if you
doing.
don't
with
know
ham
what
radio.
you don't know yet,
Mhm.
Or if you're the guy that don't know what you don't know yet,
Mhm.
Jason is a fantastic podcast to follow, and I highly recommend doing it. Ham Radio 2.0. Go out, follow the guy, watch the videos, interact. He's an awesome dude, and he deserves the love because he is promoting. Think about that, guys. This guy is promoting a form of communications uncontrolled by our government.
Mhm.
How rare is that?
That's right.
Think about it.
Absolutely.
And I love you for it, bro. That's why we had
Yeah.
you on tonight. Sorry, tonight's a little weird. I know.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
You know,
You guys-
we're weird.
You guys are shooting from the hip just
video.
like I am. That's good.
Yeah, we are, bro. We are.
Yeah.
And I hope next year.
It's psychological.
Yeah. Psychological. Yeah.
Maybe psychosocial.
Non-logical, psycho. It's not logical. That's not the term. But I want to say thanks, bro. Thanks for being here.
Psychopath.
Sure thing, man. Thank you for the invite. This was fun.
That was a great time. We'll have you on again, dude. We'll talk real radio shit.
Sure.
For sure.
Now, Imri, tell those 2 rules about skydiving, because we got some guys that are interested in skydiving over here in the chat room.
Okay. All
What
right.
are the 2
What's
rules?
the 2 rules of skydiving?
So the 2 gems that I got.
Don't
from
jump
Sue-
until you're at altitude.
No, we didn't get that.
Oh,
far.
fuck. Oh, we jump early all the time.
Yeah, we just. This looks about right.
Fuck it, go.
No, the 2 things are this. The first one, which is probably I'll start. Okay, so when you jump out of your airplane, right, you've already committed suicide.
You have committed suicide.
You've
Think
killed
about that.
yourself, right?
The minute
So-
you exit an airplane, when you go
You've killed
to a
yourself.
tandem skydive, the minute you leap out of that plane, your feet leave the bottom of that plane, you committed suicide.
Unless you're doing pull-ups on the strut.
Continue. I just wanted to put that out there for everybody.
So yeah, I appreciate it. So you've killed yourself. Now you have between, depending on where you're jumping, I don't know, 10 to 15,000 typically feet until about 4,000, 3,500
10 to 15 seconds of falling.
of being dead.
Yeah.
And so you may as well just have fun until you get there and then decide to save yourself by opening.
But I could never jerk off when I'm doing that. Ever.
I haven't tried yet, but I
haven't tried
I'll
either.
look.
I'm too fucking scared.
So
all
that
the
was
time.
one, and I started with 1 because 2 in my book is much more important.
Way more.
This is the best gem that I've gotten because I've gotten to this point in a couple other fields, but they weren't skydiving. Because I'm a newbie, guys. I got like 70 jumps.
He's jumping
but-
alone. Fuck him.
But the second you get on that plane and you're riding up and you feel 0 fear, that's your last jump. Quit right there. Right, done. Right. You need to have a good, healthy amount of fear. And that's what makes it fun.
Complacency kills.
Yeah.
Complacency kills.
Having experienced the tandem jump, did you ever do a tandem jump?
I've never done a tandem.
Like this fucker went through jump school and went straight to solo. Me and Mel tandem jumped. And I can tell you, that feeling of fear, that shit is real. Like,
But that's the whole fun of it.
It
right?
is. It is.
That's the deal, is dealing with your inner demons.
And
I'm terrified of heights, by the way.
My
I'm terrified
fear,
of heights.
but see, my fear wasn't like what I would classify as genuine fear. Yeah, I was afraid.
Okay.
I was a little nervous,
Uh-huh.
but I wasn't really that fucking worried. But I was a little afraid and a little nervous, only because I knew I had a professional, because I trust Art.
Yeah,
Art,
Art's
skydive
the
Palatka,
best.
Art, I fucking love that dude.
Art Schaefer,
yes,
he's the best. He's the best.
And when we went out, especially the Casa jump.
Oh,
That was the
ramp
one.
jump?
The ramp jump was the one we remembered the most.
Oh yeah.
Because you remember when she stepped off, I was like, "Bye, bitch!"
Bye, bitch!
Oh yeah, that's the shit. So like skydiving, hell of a lot of fun, guys.
Oh yeah.
So there's a guy that does ham radio and skydiving. He's a friend.
Shit.
He's a friend of mine.
I
Yeah.
are working on knife fighting in free fall.
He jumps out of a plane, and once he deploys his parachute, he'll bring out his radio and he'll call Aeronautical Mobile, and he'll make contacts while he's skydiving.
That's awesome.
No shit. I'm gonna do that
That's
on the
awesome.
Anthony Tower. We're gonna be in Blackwood Saturday.
Okay.
I might
You're
have
gonna
to
be there
jump
jumping.
Saturday
Mhm.
just so I can do that today. I'm gonna contact him.
Think
ahead of
about
time.
it. You could take a
Yeah.
HF radio there and just drop a wire out of your
Oh
back
yeah,
pocket.
just let it do it.
He's
real
done.
hard.
He's done HF before too.
There's
He's
one
not
thing
just.
you're
It's not just
gonna have to
VHF, but yeah.
Right. I'm sure the radio portion of it works, but you're going to have a closed helmet with your microphone inside of it.
True.
So anybody can hear over
That's
150
all right.
miles an hour.
The problem
Right.
is you can only do VHF. You can't do HF.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
you can. Yes, you can.
You need a reflector. What are you reflecting off of?
No, you just hang an end-fed half wave out your foot. That's what
you
he
really
does.
think just feeding a half wave out.
Yeah, it's like 66
All right,
feet.
listen,
You're 10,000 feet in this air, man. It's 66 feet. It's nothing.
Well, you could be. I'm going to
Boy.
test that. I'm going to
He's
come
done it
to
before.
Florida this weekend. I'm bringing some antennas with me. Mel already wants to jump. I got to let her jump, but I'm going to have to jump a couple times to Art. And I'm going to carry an antenna and a Zygu Is it 5100, Jason? Is it
Uh,
Zygo 5100?
6100.
I'm sorry, 6100. I'm going to carry a
6100,
Zygo 6100 HF radio with me while I do it, and we're going to try to drop an antenna and see if I can make a single contact on a free
During free fall.
Just don't kill yourself.
I'm going to open the shoot early. I'm like,
Oh yeah, you do it after you
Well,
open
if
the
you're doing
shoot.
a tandem, they got to open it early anyway.
Well, but still, I'm going to tell them to open it
So
early.
you're going to do it under canopy. You're not
Yes.
going to do it.
Okay.
Not at free fall.
I would
That's-
say in my head it's free fall.
That's
like,
too dangerous. I got the
It's not dangerous. It's just silly.
An antenna whipping around. Shit,
It's
come
silly.
on. Nah. I'm going to do it. This Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to be in Palatka at the Round Canopy Parachute Team. We're going to attempt an HF contact while under silk, not in free fall, but under silk. We're going to try that.
That
All right,
sounds like
man.
a good time. I'll be on the ground like.
I'm going to holler at you, make sure you're on your radio, because I'm going to be at like 10,000 feet. I'll be able to talk to you. I'm going to make sure even if I can just talk to you in the plane, it'll be great. But that'll happen this weekend. I'm going to holler at you. We're going to be doing that this weekend.
Awesome.
That'll be a good time.
Awesome.
Yeah. Jason, like last point, where do we point people toward for Ham Radio 2.0? And if you're not smart enough to realize Ham Radio 2.0, go ahead and log off, go home, go to bed. But Jason, where can folks find you?
YouTube, Ham Radio 2.0. That's it.
That's
and
it.
Rumble. And Rumble.
I just
And
gave it out.
No, hey, that's marketing.
Yeah.
You do it over and over and over.
Look,
That's marketing.
keep
That's true. Yeah.
Stupid, right?
Yes.
Kiss.
That's what we live by.
Yeah, we
kids.
live by kids,
That's
You
it,
got to
man.
keep it simple for us idiots.
especially
Yep.
for him.
Right.
He's a boomer.
Right.
I just want to give a big thank you to everybody who hung in tonight and watched us. This has gone on ridiculously long. We're over 2 hours long. We're two and a half hours. in.
2.5 hours.
We don't do it down very often. But
Jason-
this has been fun.
I
wanna
wasn't sure
say
how long
thank
you went.
for sitting through this. I know you didn't give it a ton of input. This is
Right.
unexpected, and it's been a great night for me. I've had a lot of fun. I'm glad you've been on here. I'm glad these guys are here. I've had a great time.
I can tell you, I'm definitely checking out Ham Radio 2.0. And see what I did there?
There you go.
Thanks.
On YouTube.
Thank you. On
No,
YouTube.
I'm totally gonna go watch your shit. I need to know this.
What
I
he's
need to
saying
learn.
is, I'm a big fan of Ham Radio 2.0, and I will
No,
be
I do it
following
for him.
them
I
on
do it for him.
YouTube.
Let me do it for him.
Yes.
I want to get into the radio. You know.
What's that? What's that one where Dalton? That one
For
where
all
Dalton did in the last book, he was talking like a Russian. He was like, "I will trade you my gypsy woman. She is almost virgin."
Yeah, he does.
Look. All right, because
I
you
love
brought it
that.
up, I'm going to tell the whole gypsy story right now.
Alan,
No. All right, me and Alan were at Robin Sage, and we were both just leaning against a pine tree, and we're looking at the captain of the team, and he's got his laptop up, and he's trying to figure some shit out. And me and him were just leaning against a tree, watching. Fuck all we got to do. Alan just looks at me, he's like, "Watch this." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I need to pay attention now." He walks up to this captain. He's sitting on the end of a log, big ass log in front of him. He's got his laptop. And Alan walks up to him and he's got his hand like this. And he walks up to the captain and he stops and he waits until this captain looks up to him. This is a cocky little prick that didn't pass either. He's holding his hand like this. And the captain kind of looks up, sort of suspectingly, that quizzical look on his face. And Alan goes, "I've come for to make blessing on American work camp." He's like, "I have here pubic hair from Virgin Gypsy."
That's so Alan.
He opens his hand and goes and blows his shit all over this guy. And he's like, "Oh!" He's looking at himself. And Alan does like this. He does a salute. He goes, and just does an about face and walks away.
He's such a genius.
And I'm behind the tree he and I were leaning against now, pissing on myself. I am laughing so hard. He passes me and he's cracking up. And I'm like, "I'm going to do it too." And I come out from behind the tree. And as soon as I stepped up behind the tree, the captain, he had target lock. He looked right at me. I walked up to him just like this. I stepped up, same thing. "I've come for to make blessing on American work camp." I blow this, and it was legit pube hair.
Oh, really? It was
Oh, no. Mine was. Alan's was on there. Mine was real. And these guys are losing their shit. Like, they're talking amongst themselves. One of the guys like, where'd they get the hair? And he's like, you don't want to know. That you don't want to know. It was so fucking funny. But it goes into, again, these were comms dudes we were fucking with. We were fucking with the comms guys. That's who we were fucking with. Nobody else, just the comms guy. And it worked out well. They never made comms. They fucked up the whole time. I went up on a mountain with them. We were going to set up a relay station. They fucked up in a capital way. Like that, my dumbass G self sitting down and leaning against a tree going, hey, why don't you see if those two radios will talk to each other here? Just an idea. And they legit had a bad mic that would not function. The PTT button did not work. And we found that out in the middle of the fucking op. We're conducting an ambush on a place right now. And these guys can't talk to base. So they flunked. Right? That moment, that entire team flunked out around.
The flip side of that, that's called reality.
It is reality.
Right.
But it's instilling upon them the importance. Folks, look at me. The importance of communications. Not to talk, but to listen. You will gain far more intelligence value of a ham radio by listening to it than you will talking over it.
True.
Gosh, it's like talking to people, right? Take information, don't give it.
Take it all day long. Don't give them shit back. Jason, I want to say thanks for being here, bro.
You bet.
Russ, I'm going to say thanks for putting up with us this long. Tonight ran a little long. I'm going to thank all you guys who hung in here. Sue, what do you want to leave people with tonight?
I got a boner.
That's a tomahawk bone, by the way, which I made tonight.
From a tomahawk.
Fucking
Jason,
steak.
we haven't even
I'm
eaten
sorry.
We haven't got to yet.
No, that's for Jason. I'm sorry. All this noise in the background is my dog brought a bone.
It is his.
Get out of here.
His dog.
His
Sue,
dog.
Henry.
No, I just
sorry.
want
I
to say that.
Huh? I started to call you Sue. I'm not calling you Imri. I didn't mean to
Oh
pitch
God,
you that
that's
way.
demeaning.
I know, it's so hurtful.
Horrible. No, if I have one thing to say after tonight's conversation, it's probably, I guess, if you don't get good at ham radio, then you got to be a beast on your feet in the forest and build those blisters up.
Look,
because that's how I'm gonna be talking to people.
Right.
it takes two to tango. It takes two to be a fire team. Why did you unmute? Why was my
Why was
mic?
it muted?
Why was my mic muted?
Is it your foot?
What me? I don't know. It could have been. It might have been. Jason, I'm sorry, bro.
That's all right, man.
Being here tonight,
Yep.
brother. Look, guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you're into ham radio, or if you're thinking about communications, or you're on the fence and like, I'm not sure, follow Jason. Don't look at me. I'm not the example. He is.
Ham Radio 2.0 on YouTube.
Fucking
That's right.
A.
That's right.
Because I'm not the example.
Yeah.
I use ham radio communications when I need them, which is why you guys need to learn and be licensed to use them as well.
Is ham radio kosher?
It's very kosher.
Are you sure?
It's been blessed.
It's called ham.
It's not
That's
ham.
the E in the PACE plan. Your plan. Courier is the safest mean of communication.
Exactly. E in the IDF, the E is the most important part of the PACE plan. For comms. Well, just saying. No, but really, thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. Jason, thanks for being here tonight.
You bet, man. Thanks for the invite.
To Russ and Teresa, who are in the background hanging out doing their thing, and the slightly amazing Angry Mel. You guys like her, I don't know why, but she's in the living room. She keeps coming up and giving me she's going to cut my throat tonight. But I just want to share that. But Jason, thanks for being here, bro. Sue, it's been awesome. I love having you here.
I appreciate it, guys.
No, having you guys in my home, Imri, you too. Like having you guys at my house. I can't explain what
We don't get down here very often, Jason.
Not often.
We're sorry for keeping you on so long.
But
That's all right. That's all right.
Tonight. Like I grilled a tomahawk, I grilled some other shit. We're going to do a thing now.
And I'm getting hungry.
I'm getting hungry too. Mm-hmm. You like that long pig, don't you?
I like the short cow.
That's exactly what we have. Jason, thanks for being here. Big shout out to Russ. Guys, you don't realize the effort
Russ
Russ
did a
puts
good
in
job.
for T, for Pete Robertucci,
And for Teresa.
and most importantly for Mama T. Not any woman could put up with that, but Mama T's special.
Also, not any woman could put up with him.
No, not at
Same.
all. Not in the least. But Russ is special to us, and I'm going to give a big shout out to the two of them. Thank you, guys. They just got home, y'all. They're back in South Carolina. They left Steve's place. They went to North Carolina. They did some stuff. We were supposed to be there, North Carolina folks. I'm so sorry we couldn't make it because of my surgery. But Russ and Teresa were there, and we opened the swag bag. You guys got some goodies. But next year, we'll be there. And so looking forward, July is Montana in Shield Arms. Look Shield Arms up online. Come to their event. If you're in that region, we will be there. We will then be leaving Montana and heading to the Southwest. Think Utah, Arizona, all that good shit, Texas, coming home. We will do several stops in Texas. We will do a stop in Arizona as well as Utah. So if you want to hang out, and you fuckers in Utah, you motherfuckers, if you're here again from the last one we did, which was many years ago, please come again, guys. I really want you to come again. We had a great time with y'all. We had a good time, and you need to come again. And so I'm saying thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Jason, thanks for being here. I'm sorry the show was kind of all over the place, but that's just the way it works sometimes when you're dealing with my ass.
True.
And there's my beautiful wife at the door with a wine glass telling me, wrap it up. So we're going to go eat a tomahawk now.
Guys, we
Sweet.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Jason, thank you, brother.
So
You
I'm
bet.
leaving you, Jason. What are you going to leave folks with tonight?
I already did. We were
You
good.
did it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Ham Radio 2.0.
That's what I was going
On
to see.
YouTube.
Self-promotion, bro. Come on. Sue, what are you going to leave folks with tonight?
I am not bi-curious.
He's lying.
He's bi-curious. He's not curious anymore.
And
I'm not curious
That's my
anymore.
thing. He's not
Yeah, he's no longer curious at all. He's firmly.
I know I don't like it.
Guys, y'all stay Jewish. We'll see you next week.
Stay Jewish, y'all.
Thanks,
You
guys.
do it.
Appreciate it.
Jason, thanks for being here.
You bet.
Big shout out to Russ. I can't give him enough props because of the shit that guy does
He did good.
behind the scenes for everybody, not just me, y'all.
Yeah.
Like
He's a special
Russ, he really is. He's a 1 in a million dude that is there for all of us. And Jason, huge thanks for being here. We'll have you back on again, probably another next quarter. We'll get
Cool.
you back on. I want to talk Zygu. Like I'm still fucking with
Yeah.
my Zygu. I'm still jailbreaking it. Once I get it opened up and do some shit with it, I'm gonna have you on so we can talk about that. You ain't got nothing else you done?
Yeah, no, I did my thing. He's not curious anymore.
He's not curious anymore. He knows for a certain he don't like that shit. So you guys do
All
a
right.
deal for me. It'd be good or be good at it. And as Mel says, or master the throat punch. Right? Am I wrong?
I got nothing.
We'll catch you guys next week. You guys be good or be good at it. We'll see you next week.
Later.